Check me out now. Return of the smooth operator. Shotty on repeat. I say sleep later. This another favor. Consider me your neighbor. Lost a lot of fam in pursuit of the paper. She gon' catch the vapors when we slide by. The way I speak my mind, it's like I peak my prime, but I ain't close. I cruise through the night air. Fantasy a dream. Real world is a nightmare. Like Claire battling the brainless. Learn to live shameless. Talk about me alive, but claim that I'm nameless. You aimless. So I'ma style on them. They washed up. It's a rap. Throw the towel on them. Gaining miles on them. Otakus for the win. Tacos, it depend on the mood that I'm in. Like Finn when it's time for adventure. This some new blue. Get ready to enter my mind for a few. Come and take a ride with the crew. I'ma show you how to recoup days lost when you vibe with the blue. Come vibe with the blue. Yeah. About time to regroup. Fly, got my eyes on the view. Never hear lies, only truth. Realize why they vibe with the blue. 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 Vibe with the vibe with the sky. Wait, you know the rest. I'm blessed. I see you frontin' like you ain't impressed, but I still get requests. I'm playing Zelda on the GameCube. I quit spamming my music. Don't ever try forcing the links. That's a high rule. The wind waker, Mother Nature on my side too, controlling the elements. Go and check my avatar. I'm arrows ahead. Get the point. Moving forward. The battle scars accumulated over time are reminders of what I went through as a minor, but made me a grinder. The trees broke down for this loose leaf. If life's a game of death, I'm Bruce Lee. Ooh wee. Lose sleep on the regular, trying to get this word out. Then I crash Nebula. Wish I had a very odd parent, maybe two, but it's cool. Everybody pays dues. Now it's time to make moves. Granny didn't raise me to lose. Think I'm in the mood for a cruise. Wanna ride? Come and vibe with the blue. Come 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 vibe with the. Check this out, y'all. I'm back spazzing like the elderly worth of my cousin Beverly. Never swear away from the truth. Just ask Heather, be weather, be tripping, starting to control like our destiny. Always give you the best of me until the death of me. My weaponry is a paintbrush. Hush, don't tell my secret. They get a hold of it. If you leak it, get it. As usual. It's cool. Got you covered though, look. But let me get back to that cool-ish, loose-ish. Why they still lying? They don't do this bad at board games. Whole world clueless, selling they soul for Roof Chris. Who's this honored fella? Need a sliced extra mozzarella. Crew fly, let God propellers. Humanity born like they don't trust fun. Why you dodge the teller? You don't know, but my odds are better. Life's a gamble, depending on who holding the cards. You can start living at large or it's bon voyage. Charge it to the game. Me and you ain't the same. I'm thinking bigger pictures. Why you still shrinking the frame? Ever blink in the rain? It helps when your eyes dry. Mob with the bright minds. Think you funny, wise guy? Midnight marauder with a new tribe. Tired of the fake. Come and vibe with the blue sky. Come vibe with the blue sky. Why do you try? We get them high. Take them high. What I do? Come vibe with the blue. Yeah. Come vibe with the blue. Abs, what up? Vibe with the. Wise grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple lies. You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy. Dream on, yeah. Dream on, Dreamweaver.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It is your boy Ernie, Blerd Without Fear. Got the homie Carter presents. Welcome to episode 221 of the Blerd Cave, the #1 comic book news stream on this or any other Earth on the multiverse that you can also get not just here on YouTube. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on Google. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Timbuktu. You probably get it on, I don't know. You probably get it on the Infinity Gauntlet if you had one. That said, we are here, and man, got a few things to talk about, Carter. But first and foremost, because that's a lie. Technically, that's a lie. I have actually gotten to speak to you a fair amount this week, but it was always about bullshit. So like it was for those who are. If for whatever reason you have not been keeping up with the Blerd Without Fear Carter Presents saga, so to speak, we got a special blessing from one of Earth's mightiest. Some would say the mightiest of the mightiest.
I wasn't even going to say anything because I didn't want.
Well, no, I'm not even gonna look. I'm not even gonna say. Look, I wasn't even gonna be hyper specific.
Mm-hmm.
But just know this did happen, and so when this special blessing was received, Carter and I spoke a bit to talk about said blessing. And so yeah, but it was really just that and nothing, nothing. It was like, okay, the thing. So yeah, Carter, how you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. It's rather gloomy here in LA right now, but this natural lighting is working right now. But man, I've been chilling. Been in the Discord a lot more. I promise you all at some point I will play something in that Discord. We did the first season of Spawn. I never ended up doing the Venture Brothers movie because I had other shit going on. And then when I finally decided I was going to do something, I just started reading books because I got a lot of books to read.
You see that Grayson up there?
Yes, sir.
I see that Grayson up there. You can't hide it.
Yeah, man. I got the Grayson up there. I'm going back to see, every time I say I'm gonna go back to reading that Black Panther omnibus, I go and grab something else.
Oh. I mean, it happens, man. It happens.
Yeah, for real. Have you ever had that? Like, you really want to read, you say you not really want to, but you say you want to, you're going to read one thing, and then when you go on yourself to reach for it, something else caught your eye.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Plenty of times. That was so full disclosure, that was what kept me from reading Saga for a long time. It was because like I kept like finding other shit to read. Like I'd be like, oh, I should read Saga, and then like, no, not yet. No, don't worry about it just yet. And then I will say I did, and not in its entirety, because the way that they laid out the story was a little weird.
Yeah.
But I did just recently, and this is all thanks to Carter, I did recently go through War of the Realms again. Because it showed up at my house. Almost killed my mama. This book almost killed my mama, y'all. Carter tried to kill my mom. This book almost killed her.
In my defense, I told you that book was heavy as hell when I bought it up here. When I went to pull it off the shelf, I told you that book was heavy. Nobody told you to send your mama out there to go try to lift Thor's hammer real quick. No, I didn't tell you that shit.
Well, no, that was what was so funny about it was like, remember, so full disclosure, when this whole thing even came up, Yeah, because all the I'm assuming because there was hurricanes and all sorts of the craziness going on both the east and west coast when it was in transit. So it wound up not. I think it was like what, a few days where like it was just in transit with no change in the tracking.
Yeah.
So like I had forgotten about it, and then my mom is dropping off Cersei back at the house, and all of a sudden out of nowhere a package is on the porch, and she's like, hey, there's a package on the porch. And I was like oh, I wasn't expecting anything. I said it must be for Cynthia. And she was like, no, got your name on it. And I was like, I wasn't expecting anything, because I had smooth forgot, because I was like, oh yeah, Carter told me if it was on the way, like, or if something changed. And then so she reached down, she, like, cause she just being her, she saw a box on the porch, she reached down to pick it up. She didn't I wasn't expected to be what it was. All of a sudden, only to discover Thor's hammer is in there, and when she bends out to pick it up and goes to lift it up, she didn't know that it was going to be as heavy as it was, and she almost fell over. Now, we can laugh about it now because, like, she didn't. But, Lord, because I was like, man, and the way that she was trying to pick it up, because, like, she was still kind of technically in the house. She wasn't outside. She was in the house, like, bending down from inside the house to pick it up off the porch. That would have been a long way down. Look, I can, like I said, I can joke about it now, but if she would have leaned just a little bit, like maybe a quarter inch to the left, dude, that's what, look, that y'all heard that goofy yell. That's what y'all heard. But no, I actually ran through this over the few days after. Because the way they did it's weird. All the tie-ins are in the back.
Okay.
Like, because some of them, what they'll do is they'll do everything in order. But like this was like, nah, tie-ins in the back.
Okay.
I was like, okay, cool. I think actually, now I think about it, I think King of Black might have been that, or I think King of Black might have been that way. I'll have to revisit that, but yeah, here we are. Actually, let me put this back up on the shelf while I still have the strength. Because this, that War of the Realms is almost, isn't that War of the Realms is almost as big as that damn Immortal Hulk. I think it is actually as big.
Which I am so happy. I got to stunt again real quick. I'm so happy about.
Oh yeah, this man.
So I go to the comic shop, right? And I've been telling Ernie for fucking weeks, I want that Immortal Hulk. I want it badly. I don't want that big ass omnibus though, because that's a book I want to read regularly. There are some books that work as an omni. I have some like I have like hell. He brought it up earlier. Goddamn Grayson. But this is finna sound. I'm not gonna hear a lot of pauses, but I'm finna see a lot of pauses in the chat right now when I say this. But sometimes size does matter. So danger. I did not want that big ass Immortal Hulk omnibus. And one day, and I have not forgotten, Ernie, I will be going back this week to see if they still have that Mark Waid Flash. But going to my LCS it would be local. It's the closest one to me. In the bargain bin was volume 1 hardcover of Immortal Hulk, volume 2 hardcover, and volume 3 hardcover of Immortal Hulk. Now, that omnibus that our illustrious Blerd Without Fear has the entire run. The entire run, as you all know, if you were fans of Immortal Hulk, was 50 issues. Got that right here.
Look, his wrist is not broke.
Show late. Pick up one hardcover and read a certain story I like, put that bitch down. Just like my Superior Spider-Man, just like Jerry Duggan's fucking Deadpool. There you go. Grab a hardcover, read it, put that motherfucker back. All I got to do is find 2 more hardcovers, and I got the whole run. So,
dude, you know, I just thought about.
I'm giddy.
Next time you go up to that shop, I'm curious. I wonder if they have any of those turtles hardcovers up there. Ooh, yes, folks buying them. Folks buying them.
when I saw the Immortal Hulk, and I saw it was volume 1, 2, and 3, which I'm pretty sure are out of print because they're just re-releasing it as trades. I put those in my hand. The entire time you and I were on the phone, when I told you they had that Sandman you needed, these goddamn hardcovers never left my arm.
Oh, man.
He's like, this Immortal Hulk. Nope. I was literally like this, and then trying to fumble with my phone to cut the camera on so you could see the Sandman and the Flash that they had. Okay, these motherfuckers didn't go nowhere.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, all I have to do is buy volume 4, volume 5, and I have all of Immortal Hulk. I don't give a fuck enough about Gamma Flight. It was fine. It was written by Al Ewing.
Gamma Flight was okay. It was okay.
It was fine, but it
wasn't the W. It wasn't the W that Immortal Hulk was, but But it wasn't a law. It wasn't an L either. It wasn't an L.
It was not. It was not.
It was it was serviceable. Serviceable. But you know what? You know what is not serviceable, Carter?
What's that?
What is not serviceable is our chat. Our chat is anything but serviceable. They are great. And we got Nick Carwell in here with the Blerd Club Silver membership, which, by the way, thank you. We've also got the homie Gokon, sure his baby's father, with the $5 out here hitting us that hot and ready. Says this about to be the biggest beef since Jay-Z and Nas dropped the Ether beat. Yeah, bruh, dude, look, here's the thing. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Y'all have no idea. I'm here for it. Whoa, man. Look, we got, oh my God, what is going on here? We have got so much going on here. We got Levester, the samurai, coming in with a 50 bomb. Says, good morning, my people. Should be on a flight heading to ATL for my friend's wedding, so I'm dropping my monies early. So you got to put these money numbers in quick. Says, have a great show. And Blerd, as a fellow writer of my own novel series, it makes me proud to see you working on your own comic. Salute. Which, by the way, if any of you who are members, and once again, that was just kind of a, I don't know. I am such a terrible critic or assessor of what I do. So yeah, for those who do not know, I did a little I say little, it was actually a 45 something minute video. I did a video just kind of showing a little bit of my drawing process. I'm not gonna lie, the picture didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It came out kind of fucked off. But I will say this. I have been doing a lot of sharing on Twitter. Now, what I did find kind of funny, and this was actually quite hilarious. So I did this just kind of as a so you guys are gonna see it first. You guys are gonna see it before anybody else did. Not this part I'm gonna show first, but yeah, I had so I drew a picture of a character that is going to be in my story. It was just something I was kind of messing around with. Okay. And I put it all out there because I was like, you know what? Why not? So I've been practicing my my inking. I've been practicing my inking because I by trade, not an inker. Penciler, yes. Inker, no. I used to be one of those guys back in the 90s and the early aughts. Like, you remember, have you ever seen Chasing Amy?
Yes.
Remember the joke they used to always make about about was it Jason Lee's character? Like, because he was the inker. It was like, you trace. Like that used to be my mentality about inkers. Like, you just trace.
Hey, I'm gonna say this right now. Because with everything you talking about with your bragging and braggadocio and that ego that you are just puking out right now because you kind of good at your art tip. Okay, let me explain something to you. I'm a tracing motherfucker. Okay. Okay. Greg Land, when you see me, run. Okay.
Look.
I'm a menace when it comes to tracing. Right? Respect me.
I mean, here's the thing though. I have come to over the last like I said, that was like early 90s, early aughts.
Okay.
Blur Without Fear. So in the last like 10 or 15 years, my opinion on inking has changed dramatically. Okay. Like it's an almost complete total about face.
Mm.
But I'll show you a couple of things I was messing with. I actually was I did a little something. I put it on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It was I was messing around. I said, you know what? I want to draw somebody else's character. So I drew Milestone Media's icon.
Yeah.
Which here, let me pulls up. There you go. Oh, wait. There you go. See, this is what I tell you. When my stuff changes on Windows, it fucks up everything. There you go. Something was gonna get fucked up. But yeah, so we got Milestone Media's icon. I did that one. I haven't finished it yet. I'm gonna go back over it with some ink. I also, now this is where we get into like my own character.
Mm.
Also did this one. And everybody's like, oh wow, she looks like Rhea Ripley. And to be fair, I actually was thinking about Rhea Ripley when I drew it.
Nothing wrong with it, like no. At all.
There's oh no, no. Not at all. But here's the funny thing about that though, because I always joke because a lot of people don't know that the character Elektra is actually a lot of characters are based on people, just to some degree or another. But the character Elektra, the woman that she is based on, is in hospice care right now. I think it was Lisa Lyons, I believe is her name. Yeah, crazy.
Is she related to Lucius?
God no. You ain't shit, motherfucker. You ain't shit. But no, a lot of people didn't know that. Like a lot of people didn't know that Lisa Lyon was actually the inspiration. She was the inspiration for Elektra. So there you go. Now you know. The more you know, Carter. But no, so when people said that, I actually went and drew an actual picture of Rhea Ripley, like how I would draw Rhea Ripley. Granted, I kind of comic book eyesed her. Like if I was actually drawing the character to look like somebody. So I drew this. So this is actually on paper. The other one is digital. God
damn, Ernie, we not that damn dumb. We can see it so
well, yeah. Well, no. I'm talking about on the other one. Like here, let me move this. Let me move Lisa out of the way. I'm sorry, Lisa. But yeah, like this one, like somebody might mistake that. I mean, you know, it's a thing. It's a thing. But yeah.
Huck is a fake comic book character. We not all Huck for real. We know you do that.
I'm just saying, you never know, man. Some people get confused. But no, so there's that. Also, dude, Lefessa, out here for 13 months. Is also proud of you too, Carter. I remember the days we didn't see your face on the cave. Look at that, 13 months.
I'm still thinking about taking my face off the cave. It's time we do a cave. Let me be honest here. And I just got a text from someone who likes to watch our show but not interact with the chat because she's antisocial and a motherfucker. My shirt says head. You can't read?
Head of the table.
No, it just says head. I'm a real big fan of Al Snow. That's what it says.
You know what? I thought you were gonna say, maybe this is showing my own age. I thought you were gonna say MTV's Head. That old cartoon used to come on back to back with the Max.
Yes, I do.
But we all
tried to go back and watch that recently.
What, Max or Head?
No, the Max.
Oh God, why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Because so many people used to talk about the Max, and I used to look at the book in Barnes and Noble. I used to look at the clips for previews they would show, and why that thing was ugly. That was where my mind went.
I mean, I was actually watching the Max when it was like running. And I even read the book a couple of times. I didn't like the comic. But then again, I was a kid when I read that. So like that might have had a lot to do with it. But I can definitely tell you with all affinity, having seen episodes of the Max in recent memory, nah. I think people just really liked it because it was weird. Like it was during that time in the 90s where comic books weren't commonly seen on television. And it was new and different, and people just didn't know how to respond to it. So, and that goes both positively and negatively. I think people who loved it overreacted to it, and people who didn't care for it probably also overreacted. Like, I bet if you go back now, I bet you just be like, oh, okay, this is.
Oh yeah, the Max Neon Flux. Like those were some strange beings. Although I would not mind seeing Celebrity Deathmatch again.
So I can actually tell you. I think it was on Hulu. I think Cynthia was actually watching Celebrity Deathmatch like a week ago. Like she just wanted to revisit it to see like if it was still as good as she remembered it. And we were just like, ooh, this is cringe. Like we were both like, ooh, this is cringy as fuck. Like. Well, you know what it was? Because it wasn't early Celebrity Deathmatch she was watching. She was watching like
when they brought it back for a little bit.
Well, yeah, and like the celebrities were in on the joke. Because originally it was satire of celebrities. And then eventually when they brought it back, they actually started in a lot of cases started bringing in the celebrities in question to make fun of themselves. And it was like, this isn't as funny because y'all can't be as mean as you used to be because you don't want to piss them off because they're clearly in the room doing this with you. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I don't need this anymore. I was like, y'all carry on. Also, man, we got the Human Porch out here, which by the way, awesome. Good to see you again. In here with the Blerd Club Gold. Appreciate that. By the way, some of what we're probably gonna talk about here a little bit. If you dropped by the Beta Boy TV stream last night, you'll probably hear me repeat some things. Just full disclosure. But Human Porch was one of the many people who dropped in. So it was awesome. We also Gearless Mo out here gifted 20 memberships, just out here, just throwing them out here. You know what? Gearless Mo's out here like Floyd Mayweather. You see like he's like flinging the money at the screen. He just like membership, just throwing them at you. And let's see what else we got. We got another one in here. Let me make sure I didn't. Here we go. LP3 with the $5 says, speaking of classic collectibles, I just discovered how much I love Batman-less Gotham stories with Gotham Central by Greg Rucka. Amazing book. That book is actually, you know what it is? It's a comic that shouldn't work. It's a book about Batman. I mean, it's not about Batman, but it's like a book that's in. It's kind of like once again, what was I believe was probably very inspirational to the Gotham television series.
Okay, happy you said that because I think that's what pissed a lot of people off about that show is they wanted what was in the Rucka book, and the show was kind of turning up the insanity almost of it. Yeah,
it's like it was better. Gotham Central worked because it wasn't ridiculous. Because the people who work at Gotham, aren't ridiculous. Like it works. Like, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. Like, I was like, dude, I don't need Batman. You can tell me a story about Batman's backyard without Batman in it. I'm fine with it. I make fun of stories that do it, but deep down, I actually do genuinely like them because that's very brave. It's a very brave thing to do to be like, yeah, we're going to make a story about Gotham City, but Batman ain't in it.
Give me some clarification real quick.
Yes.
Okay. LP3 is saying Greg Rucka. Didn't Ed Brubaker do something like that?
Yeah.
Or am I tripping?
man, I think so. I'm actually pulling up
because those are some books that are on my to-do list right now. Is Gotham Central? It's there was one Tom King did recently. I think it was like Gotham Year One. I think it's like GCPD Year One or something.
I think that's
like
what it.
Brubaker, I feel like Brubaker did one.
Okay, so Brubaker did. He did. Okay, so with Gotham Central, Brubaker came in on issue 11.
Okay.
And 16, 26, 27, 33 through 36.
Okay, so I wasn't crazy. Brubaker did jump on there for a bit. Cool.
Yeah, actually, and then there were also issues where they co-wrote. So there are there are actually multiple issues where they co-wrote. So technically, yeah, it was Greg Rucka, but it was also Ed Brubaker as well. So which I mean I love Ed Brubaker. So I mean that's a win. Period. Let's see here. What else we got? What else we got? Yes. LJ Brown said, didn't Greg Rucka say he pitched GCPD to the network and they said no, then made Gotham later? Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, you were muted. Oh. I was like, wait a minute, I can't hear you. Lord. But no, we are gonna get into our topics here. Let's see here. Let's do our first one. Like I said, it was already alluded to earlier when Gokhan's Sure His Baby's father said, talking about the beef that's going on right now. So yeah, let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about Alan Moore, actual wizard.
Whoa. You gotta remember, this is okay. I know that's now. See, this is where you fucked up at. Because I have to help you because I don't want you in any sort of danger because this is your platform. This is what you do for a job. I like getting my money every month. You never, ever, 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 ever say the name. What you're supposed to say is the original creator.
Oh, yes.
That's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, because he is an actual wizard. He's a Grand High Wizard.
Why do you think Marvel know better than to put that on them old ass Miracle Man, the original creator? They ain't no fool. Nobody at Marvel is trying to get snatched when they going to use the lavatory. Okay, the original creator.
Yeah, original creator. We're just gonna say original creator, original Watchmen creator, original V for Vendetta creator. Actual wizard, Grand High Wizard, master of all the dark arts. Does not want money. Actually, I think you know what? I stan a woke king. So for those who have not heard, your man's Alan Moore's. He is gonna come get me later. Please believe that. But no, the funny thing about all this is that he of the pipe weed has come out and said something quite insane, and some of you might think I'm joking when I say that he's a wizard. I'm not joking. This man is a whole wizard. It's not just the beard either. It's not just the beard.
Ernie, let's not say grand wizard. People got the wrong idea.
Oh, no. I mean like as in like actual sorcerer, not like KKK. When I say grand,
this story is starting off on a great foot, ain't it?
Yeah, I don't mean Grand High Wizard as in like the KKK. I mean, no, he's the Grand High Wizard. He's an actual wizard. He knows spells. This man practices magic. I'm not joking when I say this is not even like, this is even a bit at this point. This is like a legitimate wizard. But no, in all seriousness. No, in all seriousness though. Mr. Watchmen creator has come out and said that enough is enough, and he's not going to take it anymore. Now, what is it you're probably saying? What do you mean he's not going to? What is enough? What is enough's enough? Is he talking about the old hair metal band, Enough's Enough? No, he's not talking about that. He's talking about the adaptations of his works. Those of you may or may not know that if you've ever gone to the theater, to the cinema, and gone to see movies, such box office masterpieces, such as The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I really like that movie.
Actually, the funny thing is, I don't hate the movie, but man, he can't fucking stand it. Because it's not like the comic. It's really not like the comic. It's its own thing.
Please continue.
Yeah, V for Vendetta. You may remember V for Vendetta, which I didn't really have a problem with V for Vendetta. It's not my favorite movie in the world. It's kind of a strange movie, which it tracks because it requires a lot of strange things to go against normal filmmaking. Like your main actor being in a mask the entire time, never showing his face. Is like it's kind of like okay. It's like the thing that everyone wanted from Judge Dredd, the original Judge Dredd, and didn't get. Which is funny because they gave it to you later and you didn't want it. But yes. Mr. Moore, also of Watchmen fame, the creator of Watchmen, co-creator technically, of Watchmen, does not want it anymore. He has said no more adaptation money. He can't say no more adaptations because they're going to make it. Warner Brothers Discovery is going to make adaptations of his work. That's just going to happen. He's accepted it now at this point, I believe. But I think Watchmen was the last straw for him. And what happened is that Moore has come out and said, don't give me the money for these. The royalties that he is making off of these films and any future adaptations, he does not want it anymore. He has gone on record as saying, now they're called graphic novels, which sounds sophisticated, and you can charge a lot more for them. What appealed to me most about comics is no more. And these innocent and inventive and imaginative superhero characters from the 40s, 50s, and 60s are being recycled to a modern audience as if they were adult fare. He says, I didn't mean my experiments with comics to become or to be immediately taken up as something that the whole industry should do. When I was doing things like Watchmen, I was not saying that dark, psychopathic characters are really cool, but that does seem to be the message that the industry took for the next 20 years. And he's not wrong about this. A lot of people forget that Watchmen was technically political satire. He was like, a lot of people misread the tea leaves on how they should look at characters like Rorschach. A lot of people think, oh, Rorschach, I'm supposed to like him. You're not supposed to like Rorschach, because what I think a lot of people missed in Watchmen is that Rorschach is a racist and a homophobe. He is not someone who is propped up as anyone you should want to be. That's why he's depicted as a disgusting individual, why he's depicted as such a misanthropic piece of shit. But I carry on. He also goes on to say, I don't really feel with the recent films that they have stood by what I assumed were their original principles. So I asked for DC Comics to send all of the money from any future TV series or films to Black Lives Matter. Now, this got a couple of different reactions. And Carter, I kind of want to know what yours is first before I tell you what these reactions are.
Gotcha. So there was one thing when he was talking about the superhero, genre when it came to cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of thousands of adults lining up to see characters and situations that had been created to entertain the 12-year-old boys, and it was always boys,
Mm-hmm.
of 50 years ago. I say this with all the respect in the world that I can say this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the stories you brought up. You brought up Watchmen. You brought up V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like to bring up Swamp Thing.
Yes.
And again, I say this with all the respect that I could possibly say it. What fucking 12-year-old wanted to read that?
No telling.
And because you brought up a point with Watchmen political satire.
Mm-hmm.
Rorschach was a racist. Rorschach was a homophobe.
Mm-hmm.
What 12-year-old boy was going to read that 50 years ago?
Well, I will say let's not so much. I would say the 50 years ago, because I mean technically it's closer to almost 40. Because Watchmen originally came out like in 86.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely say I personally didn't read it when I was a kid, but mostly because I didn't know it existed.
Okay.
But to put a finer point on it, I probably would have if DC would have let him use the characters he originally wanted to use.
Yeah.
Because that's something about Watchmen a lot of people tend to forget or don't know, is that originally all the characters you see in Watchmen are supposed to be DC Comics characters. So like Rorschach is actually supposed to be the Question. Dr. Manhattan is supposed to be Captain Atom.
Okay.
I think Night Owl was supposed to be Batman, but I might be misremembering on that one. But just know, or maybe it was Ozymandias that was supposed to be. It doesn't matter. Point of the matter is, I think my point was going to read that in its format.
And Brian Christian just said it in the chat. Maybe a sophisticated 12-year-old. That's my point. In just that, those were more so stories that were more for somebody who was more acute and more aware of the going on around him, not some fucking 12-year-old.
Yeah. Well, we also got to remember, Mr. Watchmen creator is a very eccentric person.
Whole point.
Yeah, exactly. He's quite an eccentric person.
Miss me with that. That's my first reaction to that. My next reaction to it, and it was something I was going to ask you, and I was going to ask our lovely viewers and people that are going to be listening to this later on, that are going to comment in the YouTube comments, because y'all know I fucking read them. When it comes to Black Lives Matter, was there not a lot of drama surrounding the group because of certain people that were in charge not using the funds and the money that they were getting for its proper meaning? Were there not a lot of groups that were using the money for other things?
Not a lot. I think that's the part that gets misreported. It was, I think, like 2 or 3 people in one specific group, which I think was like the main. It was technically the main group. But the thing about Black Lives Matter, I think, is that comes off as kind of nebulous. While it's technically an organization, it is also technically a movement. And there's multiple different chapters across the country. One particular one did the thing, as far as I'm aware. There may have been 2, I don't know, but I just know about the one. And I know it was like one of the higher ups, like they had used the money to buy themselves like a house that I think technically qualifies as a mansion. But that said, that I think some of that has actually been, and this is something that you probably don't see get reported a lot, some of that's actually been walked back. Because some of those claims have actually been dismissed in court. But people don't talk about it because it doesn't suit their interests. But I'm not going to be the person who's going to sit here and pretend to know the inner workings of Black Lives Matter. Personally, and this kind of gets to the reactions. So I saw a lot of people who are really happy about this. I also saw a lot of people, actually, I won't say a lot, less actually, but there were a few people here and there that would express that they wished it would have gone to a different organization like the NAACP or somebody else for that matter. Here's the thing with that. So, for one, let's put this out here. I personally feel that, well, yeah, maybe you could have given it to a different organization. I feel like that is the most prominent and most well-known one.
Yeah.
That he would be aware of. Because here's the thing we got to remember. Let's put all bullshittery aside.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget he is not American.
Mm-mm.
He is not American by a long shot. That dude is as European. He is as English as tea and crumpets.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have that level. Like, he's not a guy that I would imagine is keenly aware of American comings and goings. He probably just picked the first name out of the ether that leapt out to him. And I will definitely say, I don't remember his exact comments about the Watchmen TV show. I do remember him not absolutely hating it, but he didn't like it either.
Yeah, he didn't like anything of his.
Yeah, well, so it's principle because he believes that none of these things should be adapted in the first place.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree because I think Watchmen, both the movie and the TV show, were great. The movie less so than the TV show. I have issues with the movie. And it doesn't have anything to do with Zack Snyder specifically. My issue with the movie is, well, actually, no, it does. It actually does have to do with Zack Snyder because Zack Snyder's. Well, no, it's things that he does that he has to put in his movies that I felt were unnecessary in that Watchmen movie. But we get to the TV show. I was like, dude, the TV show had a message. It actually changed the way the country viewed a previously underrepresented massacre of black people, the Tulsa the Tulsa race massacre. So I feel like maybe that's why Black Lives Matter was fresher in his head, because some of the things that are going on in that show kind of call to that.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. Okay.
So that's just me.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You could honestly take his endorsement of Black Lives Matter one of two ways. Either he endorses the organization and the movement, like, legitimately, or he's just being a shitheel because he knows that it's going to piss off the people that he doesn't like.
So one thing I think you have to remember in that statement, he was there was one part of that statement to where he said that they can have, I don't want any of it, even the money you already owe. Yeah. So it's already money that he's not even getting.
Yeah.
You all can have it. So I just think,
I wonder if he got his money from Hell. You think he got his money from Hell?
I don't know.
A lot of people forget that movie is that movie From Hell, the one with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I read that book.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't know that. There are a lot of people who didn't know that was a comic.
Oh yeah, that was deep in my Heather Graham phase.
Yeah, because I remember like walking to the theater and someone was like, that movie's kind of weird, and I was like, that's based on a comic, and they were like, word? But there were no capes, because it was back during a time where people still thought of comic books as like, oh, that's where superheroes live. Yeah. It's like, well,
so I mean, this is just another instance of the original creator being the original creator.
Yes, 100%.
This comes as not a shock to anyone, because he has always been like this. But yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head of where I kind of felt on it, because just from the information that I had with the group, he wants to get that money. Who knows if they're actually going to get that money, since he hasn't even gotten any of that money.
Yeah.
So
it's going to go to somebody.
Yeah, it was going to go to somebody. I would just hope he would have done a little bit more research on who he would want to have it. But honestly, man, they'll get. Any group will get that money about as quick as somebody else will take another one of his adaptations and port it to the new console. Shit, man. So
yeah, it's truth be told, I think it'll be fine. So yeah, it's I don't know. It is what it is.
Yep.
We'll just have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. And I also want to point out because Elite X1 brought this up too, because I feel like it was kind of a whirlwind effect, because Elite X1 just brought up the movie that's coming out here pretty soon, Killers of the Flower Moon. Have you seen the trailer for that?
Yeah, I want to watch that.
That movie is going. I don't know if it's gonna make a lot of money, but that movie is actually telling a story people don't talk about. The fact that within a couple of years of the massacre of black people, they did the exact same thing to Native Americans.
Yeah.
So
that movie, that looks good. That looks like it'll be something that'll really just make you think.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I will.
But
I do like what Christian Rapper said, because he actually pulled out something that I wasn't thinking about. That Zack Snyder doesn't like color in his movies, because his movies are always so like desaturated. Which, I mean, it's true. They are very desaturated. Not all of them, but he uses certain colors that I'm just like, bruh, you don't know no other colors but brown and yellow and like washed out grays and blacks, man. Get out of here with that shit.
But all in all, Alan Moore is doing Alan Moore things, and he can have that energy. He is entitled to that opinion. He is entitled to feeling the way he feels.
Oh,
and you all are entitled to watching said comic book movies, TV shows, and reading your favorite stories. So
it's funny. So speaking of, Fables creator Bill Willingham has decided to make Fables public domain. Which, I'm not gonna lie, this is the real beef. Like, this is the real beef right here, because I feel like this is the one that's gonna get people. But before we do get into that, I do also want to address, we got a super chat here from Gabriel the Dark Knight. We got one, he of the 1999 super chat says, blessings, Ernie and Carter and Blerd Koa. Almost missed the cave today. Running errands is hotter than crematoria out there today. Let's get those likes up. Bruh, look. Keep that water on deck, pimp, please. Please keep that water on deck, man. I don't want to see you go out like that. I don't want to see you go out like that. But no, we've got Bill Willingham, who on his Substack dropped some bombs. He dropped some bombs. So this is a very long letter that he wrote on his Substack. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to hit the high notes here. So actually, as of yesterday, Bill Willingham, the creator of Fables, who some of you may not know, like you may say Fables. You're like, what the fuck is Fables?
You know what?
And I think Carter knows where I'm going with this. But like, I recognize there's a lot of people who don't know what Fables is.
But played the fuck out of it.
But you played the fuck. You probably played. Look, you played the fuck out of it when it was called The Wolf Among Us.
That shit tripped me out while I'm reading Twitter threads, and I'm just, y'all really don't know.
No, there's a lot of people who do not know that the comic book series Fables, which for those who are unfamiliar, this is actually like from one of the covers. One of the covers. That's actually Bigby and Snow White right there on the front. For those who know, it's basically a story about a bunch of fairy tale characters, as the name Fables would imply.
You know what's nastier that people did not know? That The Wolf Among Us was based on Fables?
What's that?
Each episode literally told you based off the comic book Fables by Bill Willingham.
Yeah, no, they did. Yeah, because like so like for those like, this game, like if you play, actually hell, they have a sequel. They got a sequel like on the horizon, like right now. There's many a motherfucker who probably jumped on this game, probably played the shit out of it, was probably one of the main motherfuckers begging for a sequel, and have no idea, no unearthly idea that The Wolf Among Us was actually Fables. Which I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that is one of those situations where a title, maybe the game should have just been called Fables to begin with, but I won't lie, The Wolf Among Us is actually a cooler title than Fables, so I see why they went with it, especially since Fables, by and large, while Big B's a big part of that, he's not the only character, so I get why they didn't just continue, why maybe that was the case, but yeah, so Fables is going, Fables supposedly, I say supposedly because there is an interesting postscript to this story, but basically what Bill Willingham came out and said is that as of now, September 15th, 2023, in the year of our Lord of the Rings, the comic book property called Fables, including all related Fables spinoffs and characters, is now in the public domain. What was once wholly owned by Bill Willingham is now owned by everyone for all time. It's done, and as most experts will tell you, once done, it cannot be undone. Takebacks are neither contemplated nor possible. And when asked why he did this, he actually cites a few reasons. So chief among them was practicality. He says that when I first signed in here, I'm actually going to move this over here just to, make it so y'all can see what I see here. Let's do this. He says, let's see here. Let's also zoom this in a fair taste. It says practicality. When I first signed my creator-owned publishing contract with DC Comics, the company was run by honest men and women of integrity who, for the most part, interpreted the details of that agreement fairly and above board. When problems inevitably came up, we worked it out like reasonable men and women. Since then, over the span of 20 years or so, those people have left or been fired to be replaced by a revolving door of strangers of no measurable integrity who now choose to interpret every facet of our contract in ways that only benefit DC Comics and its owner companies. At one time, the Fables properties were in good hands, and now, by virtue of attrition and employee replacement, the Fables properties have fallen into bad hands. And goes on to say, since I can't afford to sue DC to force them to live up to the letter and the spirit of our longtime agreements, since even winning such a suit would take ridiculous amounts of money out of my pocket and years out of my life, I'm 67 years old and don't have the years to spare, he says, I've decided to take a different approach and fight them in a different arena inspired by the principles of asymmetric warfare. First up here, I'm going to stop just for a moment. This is a very wordy way to say, because fuck DC Comics, but I got to admit, I love the big dick energy here. I'm going to go ahead and just say that right now. I respect the energy. And I want to make something very clear here. I know some people are aware that I am very politically active and politically aware. I possess a great deal of media literacy when it comes to matters of a political nature. I am keenly aware that Bill Willingham and I would probably not get along. That man is a whole conservative right-wing Republican. And that's fine. Because you know what? I jive with this. I actually jive with the idea of asymmetrical warfare because technically they are his characters. He can do whatever he can do with them, whatever the hell he wants if he so chooses to. But getting back to this asymmetrical warfare. Carter, you look confused.
No, I just didn't understand what his political things had to do with the other thing. You kind of lost me there for a second, but you brought it back.
No. What I'm saying is, so Carter, I'm gonna bring you in because I know you're not as politically aware as I am.
Oh, I am. I didn't catch that.
So the reason why is because you are aware there's a lot of workers' rights going on right now.
Of course.
Okay, so Republicans, by and large, guess what they don't give a fuck about?
Yeah.
Workers' rights. So you see where I'm going with this. Okay, cool. I didn't feel I had to explain it, but I'm gonna explain it. So yes, he is typically against people doing, but it's because it's affecting him. Because it's affecting him is why he's taking the stance. If this were anybody else, I guarantee you, he probably wouldn't feel this way. If it was outside of his area of expertise, he probably would not feel this way. While he will say that his comics Fables are not political in nature, his political beliefs are all over that comic if you just know where to look.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't want anyone to get the impression that I'm standing Bill Willingham, because politically he and I do not align, and I'd probably punch the guy if I actually met him. That said, I do like the term asymmetric warfare. But he says, the one thing in our contract the DC lawyers can't contest or reinterpret to their own benefit is that I am the sole owner of the intellectual property. I can sell it or give it away to whomever I want. I chose to give it away to everyone. If I couldn't prevent Fables from falling into bad hands, at least this is a way I could arrange that it also falls into many good hands. Since I truly believe there are still more good people in the world than bad ones, I count it as a form of victory. So, second reason be damned, because this is where he starts breaking down his philosophy. And this is where you get into the crazy realm of copyright law, which is a messy, murky grave of ideas. I don't know if anyone's ever actually looked into copyright law or ever studied copyright law. Not a fan of it. Not a fan of it at all.
I mean, chose a very good verbiage to use, saying graves, because his body's all over the place.
Oh yeah. No, it is. It is a graveyard of well, because okay, so Disney kind of fucked it up for everybody with copyright, because they have characters that should be in public domain right now, but are not. Some are 75. Some are actually 75 years overdue to be in public domain, if I'm not mistaken. But Disney kind of, you can say secured the bag for themselves, but fucked up the bag for everybody else, because, Mickey Mouse is supposed to be public domain by now.
Oh, real quick, because you said Disney, I saw a lot of people in the chat saying this. The Disney TV series Once Upon a Time, nothing to do with Fables.
No, not at all. No.
But a lot of people in the chat were saying that. So you saying Disney? Actually, that was a good little quick segue, and then we can bring it right back.
There's no connection between either of those. You know what it was? I feel like whoever it was that created that TV show, they probably read Fables. They probably read Fables and said, "Hey, change the name on the homework a little bit." They're not the same thing. They are and they aren't. They don't tell the same stories, but they are equally as wild. I never really watched the show in any like meaningful level, but I've seen enough of it to kind of know that, it gets pretty out there. But that said, when you get into his other reasonings, the philosophy and so on and so forth, this is where things get kind of wild, to me at least, just because I'm a person who is currently contemplating the realm of copyright right now. But he says philosophy in the past decade or so, my thoughts on how to reform the trademark and copyright laws in this country and others, I suppose, have undergone something of a radical transformation. See what I'm going here, Carter? Says the current laws are a mishmash of unethical backroom deals to keep trademarks and copyrights in the hands of large corporations who can largely afford to buy the outcomes they want. In my template for radical reform of those laws, I would like it if any IP is owned by its original creator for up to 20 years from the point of its publication and then goes into the public domain for any and all to use. However, at any time before that 20-year span bleeds out, you, the IP owner, can sell it to another person or corporate entity who can have exclusive use of it for up to a maximum of 10 years. That's it. Then it cannot be resold. It goes into public domain. So then, at the most, any intellectual property can be kept for exclusive use for up to about 30 years and no longer without exception. Which, not gonna lie, I don't disagree with this stance. He goes on to say that, of course, if I'm going to believe such radical ideas, what kind of hypocrite would I be if I didn't practice them? Fables has been my baby for about 20 years now. It's time to let it go. This is my first test of this process. If it works, and I see no legal reason why it won't, look for other properties to follow in the future. Since DC or any other corporate entity doesn't actually own the property, they don't get a say in this decision. Now, Carter, this is where I love what's going on here, because this is if Bill Willingham gets what he wants out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Big fat if, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you think DC has not responded.
Oh, they just responded immediately.
Oh yeah, look, you know how like in rap culture, you got 24 hours to respond on wax?
They responded in not even 20 minutes.
It was like, look, when DC came out like Teddy Long. Hold on a minute, player. They said, I'm booking a tag team match right now. You going on a tag team match against The Undertaker? Look, I can go ahead and tell y'all right now, the first thing that Bill Willingham heard when DC gave they clap back, they heard that gong.
Dude. It was so low down because I know you still have more to talk about. That's why I wanted you to take your time in saying everything you needed to say pertaining to Bill, because the DC response of like, that was without question, because again, DC did respond to this. And in the most corporate, sincere way you could possibly imagine. I have never seen you thought, eat my ass. That was basically what DC said to that. I know you said all these things, because let's keep it a buck here. Let's say this in its most basic.
Yes.
This is Bill Willingham basically's last shot. Think Tom Hanks and Saving Private Ryan. He bleeding all over the place. A tank is coming toward him, and all he got is a pistol, and he just starts shooting. Right? Bill Willingham thinks that this is his Tom Hanks moment of when he shoots the pistol and tank fucking explodes. It wasn't because of the pistol. It was because his fucking artillery strike finally came in. The backup is going to come. Backup being you, me, Ernie, everybody listening, everybody watching. That's what he is thinking is going to happen. DC pretty much came out, and let's say DC was that tank. There was no artillery strike. That tank just drove right the fuck over Tom Hanks and kept on moving.
Oh yeah, no, because I got the statement right here. Let's pull it up. It says Fables, and here I'm gonna zoom this in just a little bit more, just to that's a little too much. Here we go. It says the Fables comic books and graphic novels published by DC and the storylines, characters, and elements therein are owned by DC and protected under the copyright laws of the United States and throughout the world in accordance with applicable law and are not in the public domain. DC reserves all rights and will take such action as DC deems necessary or appropriate to protect its intellectual property rights.
Bill, we saw what you said. Yeah. It's commendable. Try me if you want to. Is basically what
right?
Just said. That was the try me if you want to. but they said it with belt in hand.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
I pity the fool. Is basically what DC just said. So my question to you, Mr. Blair Without Fear, Ernie Carruthers, sir, drawn icon, Rhea Ripley's and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Are we gonna see Big B in your book? Are we gonna see Big B fighting vampires, big dog?
I mean,
after
that
DC release that just came out.
I mean, I'll look. I would take the chance. I'm joking. I would not take that chance because look, that was basically DC doing a fuck around and find out. They're like fuck around and find out. This is y'all can try.
Yes,
you can try. Yes. I mean, hey, if you want to, look, if you feel froggy, you jump.
Yeah, because like I said, the man is 67 years old. He doesn't know what else he can do. This is his last gasp.
Mm-hmm.
So, and DC proceeded just to come over to put they foot on his neck with that last gasp.
Which and here's the thing, he actually says about as much in. I mean, this is a very wordy document. It's a very wordy document. But I mean, we'll read as much of it as we possibly can. But he goes on to say, like, what exactly has DC Comics done to provoke this? He says, too many things to list exhaustively, but here are some highlights. Throughout the years of my business relationship with DC, with Fables, and with their intellectual properties, DC has always been in violation of their agreements with me. Usually it's in smaller matters, like forgetting to seek my opinion on artists for new stories or for covers or formats of new collections and such. In those times, when called on it, they automatically said, sorry, we overlooked you again. It just fell through the cracks. They use the fell through the cracks line so often and so reflexively that I eventually had to bar them from using it ever again. They are often late reporting royalties and often underreport said royalties, forcing me to go after them to pay the rest of what is owed. Lately, through their practices, though their practices have grown beyond these mere annoyances, prompting some sort of showdown, first they tried to strong-arm the ownership of Fables from me when Mark Doyle and Dan Didio first approached me with the idea of bringing Fables back for its 20th anniversary. Both gentlemen since fired from DC. During the contract negotiations for the new issues, their legal negotiators tried to make it a condition of the deal that the work be done as work for hire, which that's a dirty, for those who don't know, that's a dirty ass word in comics because that means you don't own shit. It's work for hire. You're doing what you're being paid to do. You don't own shit. That's what work for hire means. You don't have any, you have no say in anything that happens. Like if you create a character for Marvel, DC, whoever else, guess what? They own them. It's your idea. But you did it because they're paying you to do it. So therefore, you don't own shit. That's what that means. It says he's effectively throwing the property irrevocably into the hands of DC. When that didn't work, their excuse was, sorry, we didn't read your contract going into these negotiations. We thought we owned it.
Crazy is that one statement.
They're like, oh, look, wait. Oh, that's yours?
How wild is that? If that's true, that is nuts, bro.
That's straight up nasty. That is straight up nasty. And I'm sorry, I don't care. You say what you will. You can stand DC, Marvel, Image, whoever all you want. Any company that comes to you with something that you created that you own and say, "Oh, my bad, I thought that was ours." oh. Silly me. Yeah, get the fuck out of there real quick. But he goes on to say, more recently during talks to try to work out our many differences, DC officers admitted that their interpretation of our publishing agreement and following media rights agreement is that they could do whatever they wanted with the property. They could change stories or characters in any way they wanted. They had no obligation whatsoever to protect the integrity and value of the IP, either from themselves or from third parties, like Telltale Games, for instance, who want to radically alter the characters, settings, history, and premises of the story. I've seen the script they tried to hide from me for a couple of years, nor did they owe me any money for licensing the Fables rights to third parties, since such a license wasn't anticipated in our original agreement. When they capitulated on some of the points in a later conference call, promising on the phone to pay me back monies owed for licensing Fables to Telltale Games, for example, in the execution of the new agreement, they reneged on their word and offered the promised amount instead as a consulting fee, quotey fingers, consulting fee, which avoided the precedent of admitting this was money owed and included a non-disclosure agreement that would prevent me from saying anything but nice things about Telltale or the license. And he goes on saying so on, there's so much more, but these, as I said, are some of the highlights at that point. Since I disagreed on all of their new interpretations of our long-standing agreements, we were in conflict. They practically dared me to sue them to enforce my rights, knowing it would be a long and debilitating process, and instead, I began to consider other ways to go. So yeah, that's wild to me. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do, like, if you are a creative, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do it either, because work is work at this point. If you are a person with aspirations of working for companies like Marvel or DC, specifically DC in this case, man, read your contracts. Read your contracts. That's all I'm gonna say. Get a lawyer. Don't try to read them yourself and think, oh, I'm a smart person, I know what this means. No. Go get a lawyer. Hell, get multiple lawyers to look at it and tell you what the fuck you're about to sign. Because I promise you, and this is the case, and I can speak from personal experience on this, not in regards to comics, but just in general with contracts. Contracts are never in the signee's benefit. Any and all language in a contract is meant to serve the person who is handing you the contract and no one else. So, yeah.
Okay, real quick.
Go ahead, yeah, go off, King, go off.
End it here. Because, again, you said there was a lot to read here, and there is. But there's one portion, which I thought was pretty funny. One of the questions that he knows he will be asked is, are you concerned at what DC will do now? One thing he said was, note that my contracts with DC Comics are still in force. I did nothing to break them and cannot unilaterally end them. I still can't publish Fables comics through anyone but them. I still can't authorize a Fable movie through anyone but them, nor can I license toys, lunchboxes, etc., etc. Here's the thing. He's saying that he himself is not doing anything to break any kind of anything when it comes to DC Comics. But if you want to put Big B in your book, by all means,
he was like, go ahead.
I'm not fucking up nothing. I ain't got to worry about them sending me in court. Put that nigga in your story, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that 100. Look, because you look, go back here.
It's no white and yours, so it's just like, come on, dog.
He's literally saying it right here. Well, yeah. DC and I are still locked together in this unhappy marriage, perhaps for all time, but you aren't.
Wait, this the thing though. Okay. Pull it back up. Everybody can see. And for the audio files, I'm going to read it out for you. Okay. You, the new 100% owner of Fables, never signed such agreements. Okay, that sounds awesome. I can put Fables characters in my stories, but all you gotta do is go back. I still can't publish Fables comics through anyone but them.
Exactly. It's like it's such a.
How you gonna send us to the gun line, dog? You gonna send us out there to get shot the fuck up?
Okay, so this is where the right wing comes into play, because this is a very right wing move. Very right wing move. It's like, hey, guess what? I'm not saying that I'm going to do anything wrong or illegal, but you should.
That's ugly. Yeah, I have known people for several years. If we gonna send somebody out to do some dirt, we do it in the shadows so that nothing can be tracked back to us.
Right. You're not filming yourself like, you know.
How you put this out there for everybody? I can't do nothing. Like, I have to go through them for it. No, you gonna do it. Go on, do it. Go on.
Psych.
Even put Mark Buckingham name in there because he want him to do a story, all kind of shit. I know Mark Buckingham probably somewhere drinking his Caramel macchiato saying, wait, what the hell? What?
He's like, what? Like, how am I catching shrapnel? He's like, why am I catching bullets in this?
So, like, that's the one thing I think people really need to understand here, dude, because that makes it even more of a point when DC came out and said what they said. That shit still belongs to us. We might not be doing nothing with it because Vertigo been gone. But
yeah.
And you know what? Nisi just hit the nail on the head. So the pawns go first. Let me see one of you silly motherfuckers running around here with some Fables characters, specifically Fables characters in y'all books. But Bill said, put your hand behind your back, please, sir. That's what you're gonna be saying. But Bill said, while them cuffs getting put on you, get your ass back here. While that cease and desist is in your mailbox.
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I do like this. Once again, he points out, he says, if I understand the law correctly, and be advised, copyright law is a mess, purposely vague and murky, and no two lawyers, not even those specializing in copyright and trademark law, agree on anything. He says, you have the right to make your own Fables movies, cartoons, and publish your Fables books, manufacture your Fables toys, do anything you want with the property because it's your property. And DC has emphatically said, I fucking dare you. So yeah, all of this was just an aid to say, I wouldn't go run out and make your own Wolf Among Us. I'm just going to put that out there. I wouldn't go run out trying to make a book about Bigby the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood and the Axeman. And
nobody except me just said a hairy wolf among folk starring Big Bay Wolf. A hairy wolf among folk.
Look, you know what they're gonna do? Look, it's gonna be instead of Snow White, is gonna be like ice beige. that's what you gonna get. You ain't getting no actual like. Which here's the funny part. So characters like the Big Bad Wolf, Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, so on and so forth. Those characters are public domain. Honestly, if you really wanted to, you could make a book or a story, movie, whatever, about those characters because nobody owns them really. However, you couldn't make them in the image and the way they are depicted in Fables or The Wolf Among Us for that matter.
Elise Leanna Boyd in the chat saying DC isn't doing this to Neil Gaiman. Here's the thing with that though. To me,
I'm about to say Neil Gaiman is Neil Gaiman.
Well, okay, so another way to say that would be Neil Gaiman got time.
Oh yeah, no, he'll fuck him
Neil
up.
Gaiman went to war with Todd McFarlane over Angela.
Yeah, and was petty as fuck about it.
Gave Angela to Marvel, which they've done next to nothing with. Maybe
they did something with her
for maybe a story here or there, maybe a book here or there, but
she doesn't get used a lot now.
Angela is what okay, and plus Neil Gaiman is behind the scenes in a lot of the stuff that is getting what's the word I'm looking for? That's getting turned into other things, whether they be TV shows, whether they be movies and stuff like that. So I say all that again to say Neil Gaiman got time.
Yeah. Neil Gaiman has time. Not to mention, he's such a big name. Like, and I would say arguably even bigger than either the wizard who shall not be named, or Bill Willingham for that matter. Neil Gaiman can, first off, DC knows if they fuck with Gaiman, they fucking with money. Gaiman is so big, he was like, nah, I know y'all own this shit, but we gonna do it over here at Netflix. And there's a reason why Sandman anything didn't get made until he was happy with it. Because Gaiman understood the game. So yeah, don't think for 5 seconds. Don't think for 5 seconds the Gaiman ain't about his shit. Let's see, we got one here. Wraith X7 with $5. Oh wait, here. Let me get rid of that actually. Here. There we go. Bam. Bam.
You know what? Since we said all this crap, does that make you want to go reread Chips of Darcy's Public Domain book? Actually,
it kind of does, actually. I actually did. I was like, I kind of want to go back and read this and see, like, man, ain't this about a bitch? But actually, I think I saw the trade for it somewhere. I need to go pick that up. It says Moore is a hypocrite. He took characters that were created for kids all ages by other people and remade them into mature characters for adults. Well, I mean, kind of in a roundabout way, so much as if you're talking about League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that I would say is not so much the case. If you were about to say something, Carter?
I was gonna say, I know that comment, that argument could be made for Miracle Man for sure.
Well, yeah, Miracle Man. I'll give you that.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, yeah.
Well, yeah. Leave it. So Miracle Man's a weird one. I'll concede Miracle Man. I'll concede Miracle Man. The trick is that we also gotta remember this dude is high all the time. If you were smoking the type of magical, mystical weed that he smokes, you would say some crazy shit too. Honestly, I would love to be off that Watchmen weed. I would love to be off that Watchmen weed. Like, dude, if they had like an edible that would just call V, I'd take it because I know I would see some wild shit.
You go ahead, all right, and then you just gonna wake up. Your wife gonna tell you shaved your head for no reason, and you was shaking your fist at the rain for no goddamn reason.
Look, y'all gonna see my ass walking out here with some goddamn pantyhose on my face, walking around with a fedora. The masses, they looked up to me and said, "Help us," and I looked down and said, "No."
I still have not seen V for Vendetta, even though that was clearly a Watchmen reference. Just before anyone in the chat says anything about it, I have not seen that movie. It wasn't until recently I realized apparently the V dude was Agent Smith. Never knew that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. And he actually did a really good job, I felt, of playing V. I just thought the movie it was just too all over the place. Like it was very schizophrenic film. It had too many identities, and I don't know. It's fine. It's fine, I'm sure. Also, I will say V for Vendetta, not my favorite comic. So I also walk into this with a little bit of baggage. So I own that. I own that. We also got one here. Go Contro's Baby's father with $2 says, he, the wizard, he burned his soul like ether. I mean, look, that man has spells. He has spells. And I'm pretty sure that, you know what I kind of want to do now that I'm actually sitting here thinking about it? I might actually do this. I might actually make a character based on Alan Moore. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a character based on Alan Moore for my comic. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That's going to be a thing. We'll talk about it later. We also got Sin coming in here straight out of South Africa with I'm confused. People are taking fiction seriously. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about fiction. The most unrealistic shit in the world happens in fiction, and everyone in the real world treats it as though it's the gospel. Personally, I don't put a whole lot of stock in fiction. I enjoy it. I like to read it. It is a great escape. But like, I'm rarely ever the person that's like legitimately angry about like fiction. Like I'm not like you know, you always hear those stories about the night Gwen Stacy died and how all the how the writers at Marvel got death threats over that comic.
You ain't even got to do
I'm
that.
not that guy.
You can keep it with you real quick because somebody in the chat was just talking about Immortal Thor.
Mm-hmm.
The dude that was in your comments.
Oh yeah.
Because I had we're not gonna say a back and forth. I was just like, bro, you taking this shit way too serious.
Yeah.
And he made it a point of talking about how he was a real fan. And if you're someone who is passionate about these stories and you're a collector and things like that, that's a motherfucker. I wish you could pull that weird ass dude up. But that's somebody who
I might actually go look.
Way too fucking serious.
Yes.
Like you hit the nail on the head.
You know what it is? You know what it reminds me of? You remember you've seen The Big Lebowski, right?
Yes.
Remember Walter, John Goodman? Remember the part where he's like he pulls the pistol, he's like, "Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?" Like that's how these people come off. They come off like John Goodman in The Big Lebowski. Like I just immediately imagined a motherfucker like y'all don't like. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying this is y'all. I'm not saying this is anyone specific. Well, other than this person, but whenever I read angry comments that are like trying to call me out as not being a real fan or try to accuse me of not interpreting something the way that they interpret it, honestly, to me, that's what y'all sound like when you do it.
Tube's the one with Blerd Club Silver for 24 months saying there's a difference between fans and fanatics.
There's a huge difference. Thank you. I mean, like I said, I never like referring to myself as a fanatic of something.
Yeah.
Like I jokingly use the term stan. Like I use it I use it ironically. I don't use it unironically. When I say stan, I'm largely joking. So I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression here. But for me personally, just in my daily comings and goings, I don't rock with it, man. I don't rock with it.
This is not Nom. There are rules.
Yeah, right. Right. Am I the only one who gives a shit about the rules?
I gotta watch that again today, bro.
I love that movie. I'm not gonna lie. The Big Lebowski is one of those movies that like is timeless for me, even though technically you could tell it's very much of its time. But there are so many things that happen in the movie. I'm just like, bruh. Bruh. Let's go. Dex actually said it perfectly too. This is like comic book Twitter 25/8 edgy for nothing, for no reason.
I can't do it anymore. That's why I cannot do comic book anymore.
Oh
my god, I cannot do it anymore. I can't.
Comic X, there you go. There's that too. X, Twitter, whatever you. I mean, let's be real. It's always going to be Twitter. Let's a rebrand ain't gonna change that. It's like when Prince changed his name to a symbol. We still call that motherfucker Prince. Don't play. Here's the Chi-Town Dan the Nice Gay King with a $5 super chat says, can we get an issue of crossover where Bill gets clapped by his Fable characters asking for a friend? Dude, you know what? And you know what's sad about that? So I don't know if anyone remembers us talking about this. What's so sad about that statement, what also makes me laugh, but also makes me cry at the same time, is that I don't know if we're ever going to get an end to crossover. I don't think we're ever going to get it because I don't know if any of y'all remember, but Donnie Cates actually came out and said that he didn't say which comics, but I knew which ones he probably meant when he said that he went back and read some of his stories, that it was like he was reading them for the first time, that like he was as surprised at what was going to happen as anybody else. Now, that's not to say he doesn't have his notes or anything. He can't work off that, but I can kind of see where he's coming from, where like, okay, case in point, I was actually going through some of my old sketchbooks, and who knows, maybe one day I'll pull them out, and maybe that's what we'll do for Patreon channel member I can't talk content one day soon, is I was going back through and looking at them. I was like, man, these are sketchbooks from when I was like 13, 14, 15 years old. And while I can look at the characters and be like, oh yeah, this is so-and-so character. I remember making this character up, blah, blah, blah. I even can sometimes vaguely remember where my head was at when I was doing creating that character and writing some of the stories that I wrote when I was like 13, 14, 15 years old. However, and this isn't the same thing, but I'm just saying this is why I kind of understand where he's coming from. I don't really fully, it's not so much that I don't remember what the story I wrote them was supposed to be or where it was supposed to go, but if I wrote it today, if I took that same story, I would not take it in the direction that 13, 14, 50-year-old me would do. And honestly, I feel everyone would probably feel that way too. But I feel like that's what it is for Donnie Cates, is that like, he doesn't remember. He probably has notes, but if he looked at his notes for Vanish, who's to say that he would have the same idea or want to do the same idea for Vanish that he was starting with in the first place? And same goes for Crossover and anything else that he's working on. Mm-hmm. And honestly, who's to say that Hulk would have gone the same way if he would have stayed on it? Not that he would have, but just saying. It is what it is. We've got one here. 199 from Legion says, thoughts on Insomniac making a Legion game. Man, that would be weird.
I was thinking,
you know what? I wouldn't pick Insomniac.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick Insomniac.
I feel like they'd have too much going on.
Now, Carter might go aghast in the face when I say the name of this developer. But who's the dev for it was Red Hook? Was it Red Hook that made Darkest Dungeon?
Yeah.
Just because of how crazy that game, I'm not saying I want to play like Darkest Dungeon. Let's get that. Let's take that off the table. I'm just saying, just based on how that game is crafted in terms of how it deals with all these different emotions and feelings and vibes that each of your characters can feel at any one moment, and how it affects the gameplay of that character. Mm-hmm. I would like to see, like, if not them, and this is like pie in the sky because it would never happen. Silicon Knights, the people who made Eternal Darkness. Those would be the two devs I would look at.
So, with you being a fan of D&D, with you playing with the dice and the what is it called, the natural 30, whatever the hell?
The natural 20, the D20.
Sure. One thing I was always saying was I really wanted to see a video game, not a role playing, throwing dice and shit. Mm-hmm. Die in the manner of Darkest Dungeon 1. What say you?
I would rock with that, actually. Mm. Now, personally, if it were up to me, I'd rather be like Baldur's Gate 3. But yeah, Darkest Dungeon, like if they came out with a game adaptation of Die in the form of Darkest Dungeon, I'd play it. I'd hate myself, but I'd play it. Because Darkest Dungeon is frustrating. I'm like, oh my God, everything that can go wrong goes fucking wrong. Let's see. We also got one here. Gearless Mo with the $20 says, ooh, my tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why. I got out of bed at all morning, rain clouds up in my window. I can't see it all. Hey, that is the for those that may or may not have caught the reference there. That is a that was a little reference to what we were talking about here earlier. A little Stan. Just a little Stan. Wasn't that like Dido? Like, yeah, it was Dido that did the, like, because I think she did the song first, but then like
everyone knows it because of Eminem.
I mean, everyone knows it because of Eminem.
A lot of people know.
Yeah, it's like, oh man. And then Dido just kind of fell off. I don't know what happened to Dido after that. Like, she was hot for like 2 seconds. But yeah. That said, let's get out of serious matters. Let's get into some ridiculousness.
Oh, cool. Let me start you with a ridiculous one. Since you are talking about old musicians, I made 4 phone calls when I was listening to a podcast, and I found this out. Oh, and it's still in the it's kind of sort of in the nerdy realm. But since you bring up old musicians, you and Gilsmo, did you know who Khalees has had pounding her recently? Khalees, former ex or former wife of Nas, you know, my milkshake and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know who was putting it on her recently? And they recently just broke up.
Who?
I give you a clue. They killed zombies and ghosts.
What?
I give you one more clue. They killed zombies, they killed ghosts, and they love lasagna. I'm talking about Bill Murray, folks. That's what I'm talking about.
Lord. I was like, huh? Like, I was like, wait a minute. Like, you know what? You know, the fucked up part is I was like, I actually didn't want to say Garfield. I was like, she's fucking a cartoon cat? Wait, Khalees and Bill Murray clapping it out? What? No, I have to confirm this. Hold on. Lord have mercy.
They recently split. I was getting off work, driving home, and I heard this on the podcast I was listening to and called like 4 different people. Like, wait a minute.
Dude, okay, so first of all, you know Bill Murray, 72 years old.
Let me tell you something. That is called game, Ernie Carruthers. Oh, my
Bro! Dude, I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. I got it pulled up. I got this shit pulled up right the fuck now. Y'all. Bill Murray, 72, and Khalees, 44. Break up after whirlwind summer romance report. What is happening?
The reason this even came up is because somebody talked about them breaking up. And they were like, oh, she was just probably with Bill Murray for his money. I was like, wait, who are you talking about? Y'all don't know who Bill Murray is with? You're with Khalees. What money Khalees got? Milkshake been gone. That milkshake been drank up the cup in the sink. So I had to pause the whole conversation. I stopped caring about what they were talking about, and I was just like, I real shit, y'all. I called like 4 or 5 people and was like, wait, Bill Murray been knocking off Khalees? How bad is Khalees' stock to go from Nas to Peter Venkman?
Right? Oh my God.
How much game?
Oh, apparently I think I know why this happened. I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, just saying, like, their rumor around the mill says the pair had supposedly bonded over grief. Because some might forget, Khalees was last married to Mike Mora, who passed away. Actually, just this past year. And Bill Murray. Well, technically, he lost his wife a few years ago, and apparently that was how they bonded, was over shared grief, supposedly. I
can't laugh anymore. You ruined it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they said they've both shared relatively recent bereavements and have that in common bond between them. A supposed insider says whatever it is that has brought them together. And however unlikely it seems, they are both single and are having fun despite the fairly big age gap. So yeah, that is wild to me. Like, but yeah, apparently her milkshake does bring. It may not bring all the boys to the yard anymore, but it definitely can bring a Ghostbuster or two.
Danger.
Are you the key master? No, I wonder. Look, Bill Murray really is a key master out here, man. He was lying. No. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. You know what? Let's move on. Let's move on. We got a couple more things. We're going to run through these real quick just cuz they're not huge deals or whatever. Carter, did you know that there's an all different Moon Knight coming?
Oh, your boy Jed McKay is leaving?
No, Jed McKay's still in the book.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, it was initially stated Jed McKay was going to be leaving Moon Knight at one point. But honestly, that book has just been too goddamn good, and Marvel is not going to let that man off the fucking hook. So, so instead of leaving Moon Knight, It was actually announced yesterday, I believe, that Jed MacKay and I believe Alessandro Capuccio as well are going to be returning with a new volume. They're basically doing what Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto did. You know, like when they did, yeah, where like it ran like I think it was like 30 something issues, and then it ended, and then they relaunched it #1, but it was still the same creative team. They're doing that. They're doing that deal. But what is said here is that whoever the new Moon Knight is, it's not Mark Spector, like at all. The Moon Knight in question, and this is going to be called the Vengeance of Moon Knight, I believe. Okay. So here, let me pull this up. Yep, and it did the thing again. I'm gonna have to fix all of these apparently, but yeah, that's
live the night. Really?
Yeah.
Really? Long live the night. Really?
Yeah, they did that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, no, so basically what they're doing, it's going to be all new, all different Moon Knight. This is not the same person. It is not Mark Spector in the suit. They are emphatic about that. That is not Mark Spector. Though I will definitely say they also implied that it's not Hunter's Moon either.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, because and technically Hunter's Moon has been getting a little more story time. Somebody, if you're not keeping up with the Jed MacKay Moon Knight series, which I think just recently had his 27th issue come out, plus like an annual. They're in, I believe it was issue number 26, I believe. Hunter's Moon got a lot of background on him, and I was like, oh man, maybe they're setting him up. And we know that Mark Spector dies in the upcoming, I believe it's going to be Moon Knight number 30 that comes out in December. So we know that Mark Spector is going to be killed off. He's and that's kind of one of the deals too, is I don't know if this is going to have much to do with it or not, but the idea is that and this is one of the current story arcs that's going on right now. I might do a video about it as well, just talking about it, not so much the specific issues. But what's going on right now with Moon Knight is that he is in a weird place because some of you may or may not remember what happened in Avengers, Jason Aaron's Avengers, the Age of Khonshu. Khonshu has been locked away, so therefore his power has diminished. And one of the things that recently came up in Jed MacKay's Moon Knight is that if Mark Spector dies, because technically if he dies, he can come back. Because recently Hunter's Moon was killed and he came back. But because Khonshu's power is dwindling because he's trapped in Asgard, so his influence can't reach his respective Moon Knights. The idea is that any Moon Knight that dies after the recent return of Hunter's Moon, they stay dead. Now, I want to put something out here. It's not to say that Mark won't be around, because one thing I don't know if any of y'all have kept up with, one thing we've seen lately is that the old Moon Knights can come back in spectral form, almost like Force Ghost. But like they come back with a vengeance. Like they can be used as weapons. Mark has been doing that as well, using past Moon Knights as like cannon fodder to help him in his fights. But yeah, whoever this person is, they're actually going with an all new look. As you can tell, if you're wondering why this Moon Knight looks different, it's because he's not wearing all white. This is actually all black. Everything you see on him right now is black. The only thing white on him is those crescent moon symbols and like the little crescent moons at his face. They also said that they got rid of the Eskrima batons. They're no longer used, like, as you can see now, he's got different weapons in his hands, which I believe Alessandro Capuccio said he based those off of the lily flowers that you would often see in hieroglyphics in Egyptian paintings and whatnot. And that the new armor that here, I'm actually going to pull this up. So here, let's do this. The armor that... That's fresh. Like he said he based the new armor on Egyptian on actual Egyptian armor. So like that's like he said was like a banded armor, if you will, that you can kind of tell because all you look at it, looking like the here. I'll actually zoom in a little bit so you kind of get a better look. Here, let's do this. See, like right in there, all that. I like that. That's actually slick as fuck, dude. I don't know who the new Moon Knight is. I mean, the low hanging fruit is Hunter's Moon, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's probably not Hunter's Moon.
You got people in chat thinking this is gonna be Frank.
Oh,
that'd be one. Have him come back from Weird World as
Moon Knight. Oh God.
He already Ghost Rider, hell.
Yeah, I mean that's true. He's Ghost Rider in the future, so I mean, what else you gonna do? But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And also we got one more thing here, Carter. This one's for you more than anybody else. I did this for you, Carter. I have sad news. I don't have my clip ready. I wish I had it ready, but I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Okay.
Carter, I know you yourself personally were completely thrown off by this because I know you were actually looking quite forward to this. So it pains me to break this news to you, sir.
Okay.
Bad Bunny is no longer going to be El Muerto. It's I know it's this is tough. These are trying times. I know you were so excited. You were so excited about El Muerto, and yeah, Bad Bunny had to bow out, man. It's sad news. It's sad news.
Ernie really needed some news stories for this Blerd Cave.
No, actually, this one I was just fucking with you. I don't give a fuck about this. I did it because I remember how you went off about Bad Bunny.
Y'all are smoking some good drugs. I see 2 who's in the chat. Y'all smoking some good drugs. Y'all don't know who Bad Bunny is. I listened to all of 2 songs from that dude. And I heard him at a random barbershop, and I knew who Bad Bunny was.
Y'all don't know who Bad Bunny is. That's Bad Bunny.
See, sir, you hit the nail on the head. Oh, that is so sad. Anywho,
y'all weren't excited for Bad Bunny. Y'all weren't excited for Bad Bunny as a well-known comics
the way
character,
he died.
El Muerto.
Hey, the way he died in Bullet Train was so fucking.
Bruh. Wait. Here's the thing. Y'all don't remember.
Y'all
don't remember El Muerto? He who was in like 3 comics in his entire life? Oh man, that's a shame. That's a shame, man. That's a shame.
Oh goodness.
That's a crying shame, Carter. That's a crying shame, man.
Are they killing the movie or just killing
the movie? Is dead. Yeah, the movie's dead. Movie is good and dead. It's all bullshit aside. Okay, so between the ongoing SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild of America strikes, the movie is just on hold indefinitely. And they said during I think it was a Vanity Fair interview, he said that when he was, what nasty motherfucker asked him about El Muerto. But he said it was removed because it was removed from Sony's release calendar back in June, apparently. And he says, I don't know what to say. But basically came back later and said that it was obvious, or basically he said, yeah, it ain't going down. It's not going down. So the movie in and of itself has been put on absolute positive hold. And it is, yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. I personally didn't give a shit. But I just thought it was funny because I remember you went the fuck off.
Who cares, Sony?
Yeah.
You know what? Because look how quick the Craven trailer came and went.
Oh no, that shit went. Honestly, that trailer aged like milk. It is gone. It is expired. It is out the door. It is we poured that shit out. We rinsed the container out and we didn't even rinse the container out. We just took the whole thing and threw it in a trash can outside. We didn't even rinse the container out and put it in the garbage can inside. That's how that shit went.
And still, we got Craven and we got Madam Web coming.
And also, I think the only reason we get Madam Web is because we know they've already shot it.
Mm-hmm.
Madam Web is shot. It's in the can. It's done. It just has to be released. So I have a lot of questions. Also, I mean, you know what I just realized too, thinking about it just now? Do you know how nasty next year is going to be when the Marvel and Disney VFX studios are on strike? You know, ain't nothing getting finished. That's why they've been pushing back all those release dates. So there you go. Oh man, that was the thing. That was the thing, y'all. Anyway, real talk though. It was all bullshit. No one cares. And I don't care either. I just wanted to fuck with Carter for a little bit because it's my favorite pastime. That said,
recommended. Good Lord.
Yeah, let's get our recommended.
Where the questions? Like, bro.
He's like, man, fuck this shit. So let's go ahead and put this out here. Carter, do you have a recommended for this week?
I do. We talked about it last week, and I read it this week. Werewolf by Night #1.
Yes,
it is going to be my recommended this week from Derek Landing and Frank Galan. Pretty fun little one shot. My only complaint from everything I would say the ending.
Oh, for real?
So there's it's a specific part of the ending when
got you.
Basically when the werewolf by night is the white man by morning. And that's all I'll say about that little interaction.
Okay, got you.
That I thought was kind of
I feel where thou'st comest from.
But yeah, that was the only complaint in an otherwise really fun little way. It reminded me of the one shot live action we got. Yeah. So yeah, Werewolf by Night. I don't like the fact that we didn't get a you will see them again or like Elsa Bloodstone returns or Werewolf by Night returns in their own book. They're returning in some fucking event called Crypt of Shadows that Marvel is doing because Marvel and DC both love doing events every month. But
wait. If that's the one I think it is, I think that's the one that they do all the time where they'll like I don't know if you remember, like they'll do this thing where like they'll have like an Avengers book, a Spider-Man book, and an X-Men book that tell one story. And it'll be like 3 separate individual issues, but it all tells the same story. I wonder if that's what that is, because they do it every year around Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might be the case, but yeah, Werewolf by Night, you can't go wrong with this. I would absolutely tell you this would be a fun little one shot you all could pick up. Absolutely. Yeah. It was fun. The art was great for the most part. Especially with the, I didn't expect them to continue the black and white for the werewolf and the color with Elsa Bloodstone throughout the entire issue, but they did.
Oh yeah, no,
so
they stuck with it.
Fun. It was pretty fun. So
yeah, they stuck with it. Mine is not a comic. It's going to be a movie. Movie I watched just recently. It's a movie that was actually shot like 2 or 3 years ago, but it didn't get released until like a few months ago.
Shot in Memphis. I was gonna scream.
Oh no, God no. It's a movie called Surrounded. Starring Letitia Wright. It's really good.
What is it?
It is a really good Western. It is so basically what's going on here. I'll just give you the elevator pitch. Letitia Wright plays obviously a black woman, a freed slave. And she she presents herself in this, and before anyone goes, oh no, this is woke garbage, before anyone says it, this is actually something that was quite common back in the Wild West, but she doesn't present herself as a woman. She presents herself as a man, because back during the Wild West, and this actually wasn't uncommon among black or white women, or any other color of woman for that matter, but sometimes women, because a woman alone in the Wild West, it was very much a regular thing for them to be accosted, and typically because eyesight honestly wasn't that great back then, people, if you presented yourself in such a way and were able to hide the fact that you were a woman, most men would just assume you were a dude if you dressed like a dude. We even saw this in what was that movie? The Harder They Fall.
Yeah.
There was a character in that movie that while they were a woman, they presented as a man because that was just easier. And it's not to say that, it wasn't also for other reasons, but Letitia Wright plays a woman who presents as a man. She is, trying to travel to a very specific location, and she winds up getting caught in the middle of a bounty hunt when a particular, a notorious criminal robs the stagecoach that she's riding on, and she ends up having to defend herself. And this is where you learn that she's actually a really skilled gunfighter, and it's so both herself and the criminal in question wind up through circumstance wind up having to rely on one another, and it becomes that issue of, can this black woman trust this white man who is obviously a criminal, obviously shady, obviously has his own self-interest at heart, but is this guy as bad as she is told that he is? That is basically the elevator pitch for the movie, more or less. It's really good. It's kind of got, have you ever seen the movie 3:10 to Yuma, the original or the remake?
I saw the remake.
Okay. Think that vibe, like the dynamic between the main character and the protagonist and the antagonist. That's the kind of dynamic that's going on here between Letitia Wright and I believe it's Jamie Bell who plays the criminal in question. It's really good. Like, honestly, I wasn't expecting much from it. I have a soft spot in my heart for Westerns. So when I saw this movie and I saw like who was in it, also to give you an idea of how old this movie is, or at least in terms of how long ago it was shot, Michael K. Williams is in this movie. And we all know he passed away like almost a year and a half ago. So if that tells you how long ago
this movie just been sitting, huh?
This movie was sitting, and it's really. And here's the thing: I like this movie a lot because honestly, I feel like people probably forget the Letitia Wright. You think about Letitia Wright nowadays, you think about the MCU, you think about Black Panther. In this movie, she is acting. She is acting her ass off, and I love it. I think this movie's great. If you are a person who is a fan of Westerns, even if you're not a fan of Westerns, I think there's a lot to like in this movie because honestly, I'm gonna say something. Y'all probably gonna get mad at me for this, but I feel like Letitia Wright was a bigger badass in this movie than she was in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Like, I took her more seriously as the character she plays in this than what she did in Wakanda Forever. And I liked her in Wakanda Forever. But like, I never, like, I don't know. She just, it just, there was something about it. Like, I felt like something was missing. There was an edge that was missing. And I don't know what it was, because clearly she shot this first. She shot this before she shot Wakanda Forever. I feel like she used it all up in this movie. But yeah, I love it. Go check it out. It's called Surrounded. Really good movie. Really good movie. Let's get into our questions from the Discord. Oh man. Scott Fitzgerald said, oh yeah, the Black Museum. Black Museum. Did you ever watch Black Mirror, Carter? The season that she was in?
Yes. That's how I knew who she was.
Okay. Yeah. I actually really like that episode. But no, yeah. That said, I love that movie. I highly recommend it. Go check it out. Let's see what we got here. We got questions. We got one from JWR in here. It says, "Good morning, Blerd Coa. In honor of Batman Day, what was your first exposure to the character?" Full disclosure, my first exposure to the character was the old Adam West, Burt Ward television series, because it was in syndication when I was little. And that's what actually, because I love that show so much, that is what made my mom start getting me Batman comics. So yeah, it was all thanks to Adam West. Adam West.
Oh, for me, it's pretty much basic, just like a lot of other people my age. It was the animated series.
Okay. That's respectable, though. That's respectable.
Yeah, that was me. And then I went and I looked up like the Michael Keaton movie, stuff like that. But yeah, it was obvious. Especially because I didn't have cable. So coming home and turning on Fox and that being, we watching this.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know what I should probably do? I should probably change the thing. There you go.
Did you want to? Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to keep it in Batman Day since we already own it, but we did get a $5 super chat from LP3. Say, how y'all feel about the Kite Man show being announced? My only issue is that it feels like DC keeps skipping characters we really want to see on screen.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like the Kite Man show's a little too late, though. I feel like they should have jumped on Kite Man like 2 years ago. Like back when,
This is why I made that tweet for everyone who saw that tweet at Carter Presents on Twitter. Is it fair to say that the only reason Kite Man is really getting any kind of shine or is getting any kind of look is because of the Tom King Batman run with him just saying hell yeah all the time?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I kind of feel like that put him back in the public eye. Because I don't think he would have I mean, maybe he would have. I feel like he wouldn't have gotten used. I feel like he wouldn't have gotten used in Harley Quinn if not for that. Like, just because he was in that series more than he probably should have been. And he wasn't even in it like a whole heap of a lot. But just enough that I feel like he probably reminded people that he existed. But here, let's get back to it.
Let's get back to the question. Trump got Thanos. Ooh. That fucking name, I swear. Good afternoon, gentlemen. There was a Bleeding Cruel rumor a few weeks ago that said the new Ultimate books that were going to start the line were X-Men Ultimates, Spider-Man, and Black Panther, with Hickman writing one of them. My question is, for the new universe, would you prefer Marvel put their best creators on the books, Ewing, McKay, Gillen, etc., or try some of their new talent, Cody Ziegler and the like?
Oh, you're Toshio Yabuchi?
Yeah, I kind of want to see some of their new talent try it personally. Speaking of trying new things, y'all keep trying me because I haven't seen those motherfucking likes going up.
Preach.
He gets me, because that's not the first time he's done it. He gets me like your ugly ass does in those videos when you will quickly segue into leaving a comment on this video, because this is why Storm is fighting Genesis, right? What the fuck?
And see, the thing is, I actually gave y'all a break this week, mostly because I couldn't think of anything funny to say or any funny segues, but they'll be back. Don't worry. They'll be back. I was also testing something. I wanted to test something. I wanted to see. I basically was gonna compare videos that I had them in, see their performance, and see like how many subscribers, so on and so forth, likes were converted from that versus when I don't do it. So that's also another reason why I did it. So there you go. Got 2 reasons. I would like to see New Blood. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. I don't give a shit about the Ultimate Marvel Universe, and that's probably why I feel this way. Your main universe shit, put your hitters on there. You want to like test, you want to do Ultimate, put your untested, or I won't say untested, but just your young blood. Like, your Toshis, your Cody Zieglers, your, I mean, and honestly, I'm not saying Kelly Thompson isn't tested, but I wouldn't mind seeing Kelly Thompson on a Ultimate Marvel book. Or something of that nature. Eve is on Black Panther right now, but if you gave her double duty on Black Panther in the Ultimate Universe, I wouldn't be mad at that either. Even though now people are angry at her or whatever, which I think is fucking hilarious. The homie Melvin says, "Grand Rising, kings and queens, and other beings of Blerd Coa. May chakra be strong and your pockets be full As we are in the fall season, even though it don't feel like fall, it really does not. Hey, global warming, y'all. Climate change. What are you doing for this pre-Halloween month to get ready for October? Y'all stay slicker than Miss B Nasty's car. This man. Carter felt some type of way about that. Okay, so I'll definitely say what I've been doing.
Do you know? Okay, real quick. Do you know what that's a reference to?
No, I do not. I just thought it was funny.
You got to go in the hole, man. You got to go in the hole, Doc.
Oh wait, I'm looking at it.
No, do not look it up. Do not. Now, when your wife catch you looking at that shit, I don't want Carter's name coming up in any conversation. It was the nigga from Discord. That's all you need.
Oh, no. You know what's funny? I actually did know who she was. I just didn't know her name. But like, yeah. Okay, so you know what people were doing when like, it was a trend. It was a trend on Facebook. Where what people would do is they would like, because you know, was it Facebook? They would do that thing where like you could post like a story, but it only lasted like for so long and it would go away. So basically, Facebook really couldn't do anything about it because by the time that they would notice it was there, like it would already be gone. But like I remember she posted something where it was like talking about her. I think she had posted it was supposed to be like about her military service, and when you click on the video, it's her just busting it wide open.
We are not going to spend questions talking about Miss B Nasty.
But no, to say pre-Halloween. So here's the thing. So here, y'all may or may not know this about me, but for me, it is spooky dookie season 24/7. So while I normally watch horror movies throughout the year, regularly. Oh, by the way, Carter, you're gonna hate me as a person, but guess what Cersei's favorite movie is now?
What's that?
The Blackening. She loves that movie. She actually asked to watch it pretty regularly now. She has two favorite horror movies now. One, she loves The Blackening, and she loves. There's a movie that I recommend. I also will recommend to people if you are a horror movie aficionado, if you're someone who takes a interest in all things horror movie related, I will also recommend you check out a movie called Deadstream. It's a Shudder original. You can only watch it on Shudder. It's a funny movie because it's about a YouTuber who gets canceled and he makes a comeback. And to make a comeback, what he's going to do is he is going to live stream for a whole night inside what is effectively a haunted house. And it goes about as well as you would imagine. It is a found footage film. So it is from the perspective of his various GoPro cameras that he has set up. It is hilarious because it is also starring the person who is directing it. But it is a really funny movie. It's great. It's not kid appropriate, but Cersei loves it. So there you go. But that said, getting back to it, I've been watching horror movies all year. I even watch them when I go to bed at night. That's what I put on in the background when I go to sleep. So I have so many crazy dreams. But that said, I've been ratcheting up my horror movie watching as of late. So the other day we did a double feature of because Cersei really wanted to watch some Nightmare on Elm Street. So we watched double feature of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, followed by Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. So we did a little double feature there. And the day before that, we did a double feature of The Blackening and Deadstream. And before that, now Cersei was not in the room for this one because she ain't ready for this yet. We did a double feature of Terrifier 1 and 2. But we did that without Cersei because yeah, she ain't quite ready for that yet. But that said, that is what I've been doing, and I will probably be watching horror movies a lot. And you know what? We might even do some watch parties of horror movies in the Discord. We've been doing it over, or I say we, the homie Beta Boy TV, aka Robo Strange, has been doing it over in his server. Because both himself and his wife are like me, horror movie, just diehards. So we've been watching horror movies over his server. So I'm thinking about doing that over here as well. We'll probably watch some other things too. But like right now, it's spooky dookie season as far as I'm concerned. If Mariah Carey can start playing in November, beginning of November, Thanksgiving ain't even come yet. As soon as the clock strikes midnight on Halloween, if Mariah Carey music can start playing in the mall at 12:01 a.m. on November 1st, well, guess what? Or hell, then I can start my horror movie season in September. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Carter, what have you been doing to get ready for spooky dookie season?
Not shit, because I've never cared about Halloween like that. But everyone in my life, everyone that surrounds me is just diehard. You and other people that I know personally. So I've never been the spooky dookie guy. But I want to ask you a question about Mariah Carey real quick.
Go ahead, shoot.
What do you think is better, being a worldwide pop star or having 2 months dedicated to just yo singing everywhere?
Honestly, I'd rather have the 2 months. Give me the 2 months. I'd rather have that because, man, that is money. That is money in your pocket. Also, I always love, I'm trying to see if I can actually find it. There's a meme that I love. It's a Mariah Carey meme, obviously. But it's a meme of Mariah Carey, like how it was it's a joke about how she's in the she's in the hyperbaric chamber, getting ready. It was like a picture of like Vegeta or somebody. But yeah, basically, talk about like that's her before she comes out of the which she's getting ready to come out for Christmas.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I've never been a big horror guy. Put a gun to my head, I'll just throw on Demon's Night because I really love that.
I like Demon Night.
But
oh wait, here it is. I found it.
Okay.
I found it. Yeah, here it is. Bam. Mariah Carey. It was Goku. That's who it was. Mariah Carey getting ready for Christmas season. There's another one that says like Mariah Carey on October. Mariah Carey on Halloween. I love it. I love it. I stand a Christmas queen. Anyway.
Yep. Levester. Morning, sir. Say good morning, my people. Hey, Blerd. Do you have a synopsis for your comic you're working on, and have you thought of how you're going to distribute it once it's finished?
Yes, I do have a synopsis. The scripts for it, not all the issues I want to release are written. It's like half done as far as like scripts. Like the idea is 5 issues, maybe. I might do 4 instead. Just depends on how the story flows. That's kind of the part I've been nailing down, whether or not I can tell the story in 4 or 5 issues. I don't think it'd be more than 5. But and then like it would be 5 with like room to grow on if it became a thing or whatever. Because that's what people always say. But yeah, the idea of it, and you know, it's not something I would hide. Excuse me. But without giving away too many details of it, it's basically about a dude who comes from a long line of I don't like using the term monster hunters because that's technically not what he does, but just people who are monster experts, like supernatural monster experts on all things demons, devils, you know, vampires, ghosts, werewolves, specters, all that sort of thing. Basically, he in and of himself is a very John Constantine-like character, just in terms of like what he can do, what he's capable of. But it is a story about him inheriting his father's mission statement, which is basically to kind of work as a troubleshooter for supernatural creatures in the city that he lives in. And while more often than not, he usually ends up serving more the human side of it, because mostly his whole deal is just making sure that the shit doesn't spill out into like the people, like innocent normies. But he does also do work for supernatural beings, and he interacts with them on a regular basis. Basically, the best way to describe it would, if I had to compare it to anything, it would be like if you took like John Constantine, the Dresden Files, and Mayor of Kingstown, and Luther, and mash them all together. That's basically where the inspiration for the whole thing comes from. So, yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So, yeah. All the things, all things I love. So, there you go.
Okay, I heard that then. Well, last question from the Discord from Christian Rapper. I watched your show last week, and I saw that you didn't like this current Spider-Man run. Why do the majority of people seem to hate this current run, but it has been the top or second best-selling comic from Marvel or DC?
Well, so here's the funny part. Personally, I don't hate the Spider-Man run. I think where I came from, it was, whereas I feel Carter doesn't like the run as a whole, the only thing I didn't like was the Rabin shit. Like when they started leaning, when the story shifted towards focusing on Rabin, that's when I checked out. Because I was like, this is dumb. Because full disclosure, and I talked about this in my video for it, that story arc is something that Zeb Wells did when he was writing Spider-Man like years ago. And it never got resolved. And he decided that, well, now was the time to resolve it. And I was like, that was a bad idea. Like that was not the right move. Now, everything else I did not mind. Like Peter being separated from MJ, I didn't really give too much of a shit about. The stuff going on with the kids was weird, but that's also tied to the Rabin stuff as well. What they're doing with Norman Osborn, I was fine with. What they were doing with Kamala Khan, I was fine with, except for her getting, clapped in a Spider-Man comic.
Everybody tripping off shrooms, looking at her corpse just from their reactions.
Yeah, that I didn't like that either. Like why did MJ?
Well, that's more JR. That's more JR Jr.
Well, yeah. Well, I just, it was weird to me just because it, like, Mary Jane looked like the Molly just kicked in. It's just, oh shit. But no, I don't hate the series. I actually like where it is right now. The Craven stuff they're doing right now is actually pretty cool too. And what they're doing with Peter Parker and Norman, I like a lot. I like especially Norman. The thing they did with like Doc Ock trying to inject him with like a lethal dosage of Goblin serum and him just being like, so? Especially with how scared he's been of turning back into Green Goblin. Like, honestly, I don't want to see Green Goblin for a while. That's just me. I like Norman the way he is. But yeah, I know we will eventually get him back. But Carter, your explanation, if you will. I think yours is... You've been obvious about yours.
Yeah, I was really hoping we could move on after that point. But I don't know, man. It's just... Go read... And if people enjoy the book, they can enjoy the motherfucker then. I'm like, if it's highest selling, cool. Somebody else found something they enjoy. Me, the writing is not hitting for me. The stuff with Rabin that you brought up was really gross, and I was just like, you could have kept that where it was. Yeah. Them constantly like, will they, won't they, will Norman do this? Every fucking issue is another thing now. And now, instead of just injecting motherfuckers with goblin serum, we have a spear with all the goblin sins in it, and we stab Spider-Man. So now Spider-Man's evil goblin shenanigans with the spear of destiny and all kind of Constantine. Where's Dr. Manhattan? That shit is whack to me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Basically, it's a lot of what Ernie brought up prior, and it's just like, after I was now given free reign to leave that book the fuck alone, I'm gonna leave it alone and hope that someone else can come along and do a better job of it. Because just going from reading the Hellions, which I had a blast with, to reading this, it's just sheesh.
Well, and here's another thing I'll say too. I think the people who hate his run on Spider-Man, I feel like they're a vocal minority. I feel like, honestly, they're a vocal minority. I feel like there are people.
If it's the highest selling, of course.
Yeah. If it's the highest, and I think that says it. I mean, are people hate reading it? Sure, probably. But I feel like the people who hate something are always going to be louder than the people who, because generally when people enjoy something, they don't say anything. They're just like, oh, okay, cool. And when people hate something, that's when people usually decide to run to Twitter, or whatever, or social media in general, and make make their presence known. That's a common thing. I personally, I have no problem with people liking it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I say, you know what? Carry on for so long as people are enjoying Zeb Wells' Spider-Man. May he continue. I don't think he's gonna get the Dan Slott treatment, but I mean, that's they don't do that anymore.
You mean staying on the book for an extended period?
Yeah. He ain't getting 10 years. He ain't getting 10 years on Spider-Man. No, hell no. But no, but for so long as people enjoy it, go right ahead. I say go off.
Yeah.
We got one here. We got Maggie Pesky coming through here. Because we got let me get this out of the way here because I want to show this. Man, with the 3 months in the Blerd Club, Goldmine says DC needs to do something with Big Barta and Granny Goodness and more female characters of DC. Well, I'll tell you this much. I can't speak for Granny Goodness, but I will say, if you want more Big Barta,
just drop this week.
Yeah, I was about to say, go check out the new Birds of Prey?
Yep.
That book, which I might be wrong. I want to make sure I'm right in saying this. I believe it's Kelly Thompson. Is that Kelly? Is Kelly Thompson?
Kelly Thompson. Yep, it's Kelly Thompson and Leonardo Romero on art. I was actually going to ask you about it because I know you were a real big fan of Mark Waid's Daredevil, and one of the things that you really brought up about that run of Daredevil was how much of a fan of the art you were because of how old school it was. Mm-hmm. So that Birds of Prey is just. Well, that's all you right there.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Oh no,
book looks like it was drawn around the same time. Shit, Miracle Man was drawn.
Right,
like, it is old school.
Oh no, it is old school as a motherfucker. And here I'm actually gonna pull this up so y'all can see what I'm talking about here. But yeah, no, this book is I like it. I like it so far. Here's a look. You can see the characters here. There's Big Barta, large and in fucking charge, right there. With a whole Black Canary, a whole Harley Quinn, a whole Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, and last and most certainly not least, she of Wildcats fame, Zealot. So, yeah, this book is off the chain. I'm going to tell you right now, I've actually thought about doing videos on it, but like, yeah, I will say, if you want Big Barta, you better go pick up that Kelly Thompson Birds of Prey, because I promise you, for one, you will not be disappointed, because Kelly Thompson is a queen, and she is a great writer. She has written fantastic and phenomenal books. Her Captain Marvel run is legendary by this point. She also has another book at Image right now called The Cull, which is really fucking good. Really fucking good. Just fantastic writer all around. I've generally I won't say I've liked everything that she has written, but I've generally liked about roughly everything she has written that I've read. Yeah. So yeah, if you want some Big Barta, whoo, that's where you gonna find her at.
Even before that, Big Barta was a really big focus in the Mr. Miracle Tom King stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
also true.
It was more Mr. Miracle. What? No. Was that his name? Was it Mr. Miracle?
Yeah. Talking about Scott Free.
Okay, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah. I was thinking maybe Scott Free was the name of the fucking book, but yeah.
No. That's his real name, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, she was a really big focus of that story with Mr. Miracle as well. So yeah, they've been doing a lot with Big Barta. Shit, they did a lot with Granny Goodness in that book too. But yeah, that Birds of Prey just dropped. So by all means, go check that out.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Don't open the book and you see that first page and think it's a flashback sequence. That's why the comic art style looks so old. That's just the whole issue.
That's just it. That is just the look. But I highly recommend it if you, please. We also got one here from Adrian Mendoza here with the $5. Says thank you, Ernie. I've been loving your weekly Fall of X recap videos. Have you guys read Gods? No, I have not. I'm about to say I don't think it's out yet. Unless they're talking about like the Stingers. I don't know if they're talking about the Stingers.
Those are getting on my fucking nerves.
Yeah,
just drop the book already.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. I'm like, man, just put the book out. I don't give a shit about any of this. I was like, just Put the goddamn book out. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That, and honestly, I'm like that with Jonathan Hickman in general. Also, I love that profile pic, by the way, because I am a huge fan of David Bowie, and I see you out here. Changes. But no, I just want the book out. I'm tired of the stingers. I'm tired of the teases. Just put the fucking book out. I don't want to read nothing about it. I don't want to see nothing about it until the book is out, because otherwise I'm just gonna be mad. Because that's how Jonathan Hickman stuff is. You can't just read one page of Jonathan Hickman and think you got the story. You crazy. But yes, I am very excited for it. Very, 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 very excited for it. So yeah, let's get to it. We got another one here. This is from Legion with the $4.99. Says, did they ever finish the Chasm series? Ben's new powers are cool. His suit is dope too. It looks like ooze slime. No, they did not. Ben shows up in Dark X-Men for like 2 seconds because he is in limbo, trapped. I don't know what they're going to do with him going forward. I'm pretty sure he's going to pop up again in Dark X-Men. They got 4 more issues left to go on that, so it's safe to say we'll see him again, most likely, and especially with what happened to Havoc by the end of that issue. We'll probably see Ben sooner than later, because while technically it's a Dark X-Men team, there's nothing saying that Ben can't be a part of it, so... but I don't know if that'll be the case. I feel like they're going to say Ben for later, though. Like, Zeb Wells will probably come back to him at some point, if I had to guess. We're in questions from the chat now, if no one could tell. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back because I want to catch every question that I know I saw earlier, and then we're just going to work our way down, and unless I see something weird. Let's see here. Here's one. We've got one from the homie Bill. Says, question, very different question from usual, since the VMAs have finally brought Afrobeat as a category and brought its first winner for it. What are your favorite Afrobeat artists to recommend? Ooh.
That's all you, big dog.
That is actually going to be tough because I don't really commit many. This is why I'm a terrible person. I don't commit very many of any of them, like of their names, to memory.
Ooh, this song slaps. Like,
yeah, that's it. Now move on. That's pretty much what happens. I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll actually do another question because I feel like that. I feel bad for that one. C-Mac the Great with the question says, why won't Cable just resurrect when that was a thing? So he doesn't have the techno-organic virus. He'd be OP for sure, like X-Man was supposed to be, but is there an in-universe explanation for it? So here's the thing. I don't know why he doesn't, honestly. He said something about it in the Jerry Duggan Cable series when they brought him back. I feel like the reason why is because of time. That's what I feel like the reasoning behind it is. Because, like, just like anyone else who's involved in time travel shenanigans, he knows how important it is for certain things to be in place. Case in point, when the X-Men were brought back from the past to the present by Beast, and they inevitably had to go back, one of the things about them going back is they had to go back as they were. They couldn't go back with all the upgrades and all the craziness that they had while they were there. They it just couldn't be the way that it was. So I feel like it's kind of the same with the techno-organic virus as well.
So there's another answer for that.
Okay.
So it's more in the vein of he is his father's son, because the same question has been asked before about when Cyclops would get resurrected, why wouldn't he just fix it to where he wouldn't have optic blasts going all over the place? He wanted to be that way. Cable wanted to keep it there because he's gotten used to it and because he actually used it with the other technology and stuff that he would put on that arm. So it actually had a use. So what they really did with Cable was they unlocked more of his powers that he got from the gene side of the family tree and DNA so that he can better control the virus that is on him. So now he just uses it for
Technically
whatever.
Madeline.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. What's sadder is I had a tab pulled up with looking dead at Madeline and still got that wrong. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, you're not wrong either because Madeline is a clone of Jean, but technically, Matt, we got to put respect on Maddie for actually birthing that child
he
on the kitchen floor of the X Mansion, mind you.
But yeah, the reason he keeps it is because he uses it just like everything else with him.
Yeah, he does. He does. Actually, he's been using it a lot more recently.
Yeah.
Because he made a mech suit, like a little battle armor suit for himself in X-Men Red. I thought that was pretty crazy. I was like, dude. I was like, here you go. Let's see here. That one I feel like. Let's see here. I don't really know.
Well, we got Blerd Club Gold from Nerd Large. 4 months.
Shit.
Saying, good day, Blerd Kingdom. What are y'all's thoughts on Aquaman 2 now that we finally have a trailer? I feel like we spoke that into existence because we just got through talking about where the fuck is that at last week.
Yeah, we did.
Looks like Juan is finally getting his Trench movie.
Yeah, that's basically, I think that's honestly a very safe. We were going to talk about the trailer today, but I just changed my mind.
When you didn't hit me to do a reaction video, I figured that's what it was.
Yeah, we were going to talk about it. Well, and also I don't know. I've gone back and forth about the whole reaction thing because like initially I was actually going to make a separate channel for reaction videos. But then like the more the reaction, people have been talking about reaction stuff. My opinion on reaction content has changed dramatically the more I've thought about it. And I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, try to get that gaming channel up. We can play GTFO today. It is installed.
This man, I honestly, I probably should do something with that other channel.
Especially with your Baldur's Gate stuff. Especially,
yeah, I could. I mean, I've already put 200 hours on the game, so yeah, there's that. And that's since it came out. That's not like. That's not counting early access.
Can I be honest about the Aquaman trailer too, and then we can move on real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go off.
I don't want us bamboozled again because trailer for Flash made us like, man, this kind of look good. And then the plate was in front of us, and that soup was nasty. So I don't want that with Aquaman 2, especially considering that soup is gonna have fish in it.
Oh no, so you got that nasty plate of spaghetti Batman threw on the table in that Flash movie. He's trying to explain the multiverse. That's what you got.
What you mean? What you nigga? You got it too. You thought that trailer looked good.
I got it too. No, I'm just saying though that plate, it was just spaghetti and sauce. Didn't have no meat in it. Ugh, gross, nasty. But no, I look. I didn't hate the first Aquaman movie. I actually am fine with it. I will say it's boring in the second act. The second act, I fell asleep, and I still fall asleep in the second act whenever I go back and watch it. The first and third act, I think, are great. But that's it. I don't know. I'm of the belief the movie will be fine. I think it'll be fine, but here's where its problem is going to come. People are just going to be like, oh, well, this movie doesn't matter because it's not a part of the DCU. That's what's going to happen. Even though technically they did have that little throwaway line in Flash that, oh, yeah, you're Aquaman in every universe. So basically kind of like implying that, yeah, it is technically a part of the DCU. James Gunn even said himself that technically it kind of rolls over into it or whatever. Back when they made their the whole DCU announcement or whatever. But I feel like, I think people are just going to be tired. And I feel like with DC having so many misses back to back, because think about it, DC has been releasing movies at rapid fire speed by comparison to Marvel as of late. where we've gotten Black Adam, we've gotten Shazam Fury of the Gods, we've gotten Blue Beetle, we've gotten the Batman, we have gotten the Flash, whatever, which I think of all 5 of those movies, only one of them has been considered a commercial success. Only one. All the rest of them have been considered either flops, box office bombs, or movies that just did okay. So I feel like people are, people always want to talk about superhero fatigue. I feel like people have DC movie fatigue right now, is what I feel.
I feel like you can make the same argument for some of the Marvel and movies and TV shows as well. And
well, I mean, people have been saying that for
out.
a long time, though. People have been saying superhero fatigue for Marvel since like Marvel even started. I don't believe that. I think that's a vocal minority that are just like always gonna hate Marvel. Like they're not people who actually watch Marvel movies. But it's like that asshole that was talking about TMNT the other day. The guy that was like, oh, like remember he was, the part of TMNT where he's like, bacon, egg, and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese. They're just like riffing and talking and like saying crazy shit. And April's like, I don't think this is a way to get people to like you. And then they like kind of pause, and then they go right back to doing the shit they were doing before. He was like, wow. He's like, script writing today is ass. And it's like, well, first off, joke's on you. That wasn't scripted. That was actually them ad-libbing. But also I was like, they're teenagers. That's what teenagers act like. Being a person who has a teenager as a child right now, yes, this is normal. Also, if you live in New York, this probably would look incredibly normal because everything they were saying was very New York. It was all New Yorkisms, just about. But no, I feel like, I don't think superhero fatigue is real. I think bad superhero movie fatigue is real. I think that is what people probably mean when they say it, because people still watch superhero movies. The Batman proves that. That movie came out when people were really talking about superhero fatigue. Batman fatigue and that. And that movie did great. So yeah. I don't know. It is what it is.
How many questions was that?
We only did 2 technically. We
Okay.
also got a super chat here from Tubes of One. With $10 says, how would you feel about a Marvel DC crossover that stems from the Anti-Monitor gaining control of the Annihilation Wave? Basically, the Antimatter universe and Negative Zone being the same place. That would actually make a lot of sense. Like, if you were, like, honestly, that makes way more sense than any of that amalgam bullshit. They just made up some bullshit. They're like, man, look, we don't know how to make this shit work. Just make up some shit. Yeah, there's a god of Marvel, there's a god of DC. Yeah, they fight. Yeah, put the motherfuckers together. There you go. But no, I would be fine with that, honestly. Like, I actually think that works. What?
Who would you want to write it, though?
Oh, who would I want? Ooh, man. God. I tell you what, here's what you do. Here's how I think you make it fair. The core book, I think, should be co-written. I think the core book should be co-written. And if I were going to pick anyone to write it, and I know some people are going to hate me when I say this, but I don't give a fuck. Okay? I don't give a fuck. A lot of people think I'm going to say Joshua Williamson. I'm going to say no, because then it would have like 82 tie-ins. And that's per week. That's per week, so no. I would want Jed MacKay. I would want Jed MacKay on the Marvel side. On the DC side, I would actually want Jason Aaron. And I know it sounds weird because, wait, isn't Jason Aaron a Marvel guy? But he's about to be on DC. Not. Yeah, he's not a Marvel guy anymore. He works for DC now. So I'd want, Jed MacKay and Jason Aaron on that book. I would eat that shit up.
You know Ram V is going over there too, don't you?
I did hear that. I like Ram V okay. But I don't know, man. Ram V's Venom, his portion of Venom wasn't hidden.
It was not.
That book got a little bit cleaner since Al been taken over. I'm just saying. Al was like, all right, let me get y'all right. He's like, let's get us back on track. When Al writing the book, like, all right, we back. I like it. But no, let's get back into the. We got 3 more questions we're gonna answer from the chat.
And then we get another goddamn super chat. But here's one from Wilbert Robinson. I actually want to ask you because of the Spider-Man 2 trailers that came out recently this week. If the Power Rangers were to cross over with anyone in Marvel Comics, who would you have them cross over with, and who would they fight? More so to you, just because of the tokusatsu costume that Miles has in Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
What do you
yeah. So if I would have the Power Rangers crossover with anybody in Marvel, it's going to sound like low-hanging fruit. Just because it's like, okay, well, sure. It would be the Champions. I'd have it be the Champions. Not because they have any inherent anything that would make them similar to the Power Rangers in any meaningful way, but just because I just feel like it would work better. And then that means that means I could convince Dan Mora to come in and draw some tokusatsu designs for all the champions.
Yeah.
And you know what? I know Ms. Marvel is an X-Man now, but fuck it. She's a champion forever, so she'd be in it too. I don't give a fuck. She's champion and X-Man. She can do both. Wolverine's been an Avenger and an X-Man for I don't know how long. So Ms. Marvel can do it. I stand a brown queen. Anyway. Let's see. We got another one in here. This is from where'd it go? It was up here. God damn it. Why you leave me? Oh, here we go. I found it. Don't worry, y'all. I found it. So this question is from The Other. Says, with Celine looking to free the lost 3 externals, how hasn't Xavier tried? And with what was done to them, would the externals join either of them or just leave them to their fate? So here's the thing about the externals. They will probably become a problem unto themselves. Because, well, for one, Celine did kind of slick betray them because she threw in her lot with Apocalypse on that hit. So there's that. However, they probably recognize that it might be for the best if they know which side their bread's buttered on. Celine will be able to bring them back via magic, most likely, because that's how she was brought back. She'll be able to bring them back that way. Though it's funny because when you think about the people that died, it's like the one whose name actually stuck out to me the most was Gideon, an old New Warriors villain. It's like, bruh, come on now. We're going to need a lot more than Gideon to take down Orcus. Let's be real here. I mean, he's a bad motherfucker, don't get me wrong, but Gideon? Nah, I'm good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they would just readily join. I think it's something they'll probably have to be coaxed into. I don't think they're going to be like, oh, hey, you brought us back. Let's all work together. Honestly, I feel like they might actually be more inclined to work with, not to say work with Orcus. They would be more inclined to work with a motherfucker like Mikhail Rasputin than they would to work with Orcus. But I don't know. I feel like they would probably just go do their own thing and then maybe come back later. Externals are weird. They're actually one of my least favorite parts of X-Men lore. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. We got, and here, this will be the last one.
Okay.
YTube Noob says, question, another YouTuber talked about how the internet ruined people's ability to enjoy movies. How has the internet, particularly social media, affected the comic book experience?
Negatively.
Very negatively. Actually, I would say in the same way, if not worse. I feel like people hate, like, okay, here's what the internet did. The internet made it where it made it perfectly normal to hate things you have never experienced for yourself. It has made it perfectly normal to hate things vehemently that honestly you probably would have only liked or only disliked marginally. I feel like if not for the internet, because people love a good dog pile, and when people see somebody, like, it's kind of like, when if you click on like what's trending on Twitter or what's trending on Facebook, what's trending on whatever, and you can go see what people are like talking about the most, it's usually just a dog pile.
Yeah.
It's
and now that people know that they can profit well,
yeah,
from that dog pile, social media is just yuck.
Oh yeah, no, I saw yesterday when Drew Barrymore posted her little sad ass, fake ass apology for carrying on her whack ass fucking talk show in the wake of a whole SAG and WGA strike. She gave this fucking, like, it was literally her worst acting performance I think I've ever seen. Fucking fake ass tears and everything. But you know what I saw people doing? And while this isn't so much people being negative towards someone in the term of calling her out, because that did actually happen. People jumped people were cooking her shit for a whole straight 24 hours. But there are also and which also, you know what I find funny? Jennifer Hudson has not caught any shrapnel over this, and she's doing the exact same thing that Drew Barrymore's doing. But I think people are just ignoring it because it's Jennifer Hudson. But
I didn't know she had a show.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, the Jennifer Hudson show is coming back too, just the same as the Drew Barrymore show and was it Real Time with Bill Maher and The Talk and all that shit. All these shows that are basically going to be using scab writers, they're coming back. And yeah,
securing the bag, huh?
Hey, at all costs, which I love. But the thing is, when I was talking about dogpiling, there's also been people dogpiling to protect people that they know are problematic, that they know is wrong to agree with. But like people are like, oh no, she's got to get her back. She's got to get her back. I was like, bitch, Drew Barrymore is worth $125 million today. She wasn't hurting. She ain't broke. She ain't like your broke ass. She ain't living paycheck to paycheck. She is rich. She does not need that money. But no, that's what people do. People see that stuff, and for better or worse, they dive in. And I've been talking mostly about the negative shit, but there's also stuff on the positive side. There's such a thing as toxic positivity. That is a real thing. There's toxic negativity, there's toxic positivity. And you see that on both spectrums of fandom now. You see it in the comic book side, you see it in the movie side, you see it in the TV side, you see it in pretty much every corner of every fandom. There are people who, just as much as we hate to see those toxic, negative motherfuckers always going off, being angry about everything, even shit they shouldn't be, and a lot of times just faking it just for the clicks. We also see people who are toxically positive, to the point that like any minor transgression, no matter how insignificant it is, being blown up as if like case in point, I always talk about like there's certain shows or whatever that I'll go back and watch. And if I mention, I think someone asked me if I liked a band the other day, and I was like, yeah. Well, did you know that band is? I was like, look, man, I don't agree with their fucking political stances. I didn't even know their political stances till you told me. Don't sit here and treat me like I'm super villain number 685. Don't treat me like I'm fucking Dr. Doom because I said I liked a band that I only listen to their music and nothing else about them. Like, I don't follow them on Twitter. I don't stalk them on Threads. I just listen to the music. Now that you've told me, I'll act accordingly, but don't treat me like I'm a villain strictly because of that. But yeah, all that said, just be kind. Be kind to each other. Cost nothing. Oh, that's it. Let's answer one more super chat. And I think we're out of here. Legion with the $4.99 says, I like the Cosmic Ghost Rider Punisher comic where he goes back in time and raises Thanos as a baby, but it still goes horribly wrong. That is a very good comic. That was
Donnie Cates.
That was Donnie Cates. That was 100% Donnie Cates. And I wish that people, I don't know if they did anything more with that plot thread, because I didn't really fuck with too many of the Cosmic Ghost Riders after that, because they've done like 2 or 3, I think, after that book. I haven't really kept up with those.
They basically turned him, because this is coming from our boy Bishop, because he has all of it.
Oh God.
It went from what Donnie Cates did to, according to him, he's just basically Deadpool now with the way he acts. Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, I remember Donnie Cates said himself that, Deadpool didn't invent crazy. They're, more than Deadpool could be a crazy character. But I see where he's coming from. It's one of those things. It's always hard to remember that sometimes, oh yeah, that's Punisher. But I mean, he's gone through so much. It all makes sense. Carter, do you have anything that you want to announce on the way out?
No. No. You know what? Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm trying to decide what the fuck I want to go eat.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm hungry too. I'm actually going to go get food because I'm fucking starving. I have not eaten but maybe 3 pieces of some fruit earlier. And literally, and when I say pieces, I mean literally of the same fruit, not like 3 different fruits. But no, I am going to go do that. I'm probably going to do some drawing later. what's on the horizon, I will say keep it locked, because I do have if you're wondering where the video for Children of the Vault is, it is on the way. It'll probably come up tomorrow or tomorrow or Monday. And I'm debating whether or not I want to do some videos on a couple of other things that I've read as well. I might do another video for Incredible Hulk, because some pretty cool stuff happened in that one. And I think what I'm going to do, maybe this is a little content announcement, I might start doing, because they never really do well on the channel, just by and large. Whenever I talk about comics that aren't in Marvel or DC, they just don't do well. So I think what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start making shorts out of like content that isn't Marvel or DC. Maybe even just comics I don't normally cover in general. Just because I feel like I can get an idea out, boom, move on, be done with it, going about my fucking day. So that might be something to look forward to in the future. And also maybe some art live streams, though I might do those over on Twitch. Not here, just because I feel like Twitch is just easier for streaming things, like when I just feel like streaming. Like YouTube streams, I usually have to set something up. It's like, nah, Twitch, I can just go live. The day that YouTube does something like that with this, Blerd Caves would be just off the chain. You probably would see me do more over here on this side of things. But yeah, just keep it locked. I'll make announcements when applicable. And yeah, I think going forward, I'll probably do more art stuff, like art videos, for Patreon and channel member content, so keep it locked for that too. But that said, thank you so much, all the lurkers, the chatters, super chatters, patrons, channel members, everyone here that makes Blerd Without Fear and the Blerd Cave and all the other stuff. You make it all possible. Thank you so much for that. For Carter Presents, I am the Blerd Without Fear. And David Zaslav, you can go to hell.